moments, you're coming to Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado to see the Seahawks against the Broncos. Seahawk quarterback Rick Meyer saw his contract renewed for the next 2 years this week. John Elway just wants to win 3 more games for the Broncos and get them into the playoffs. Seahawks-Broncos next on NBC.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel in New York. We'll get back to your game in just a moment after we update the scores for you. We begin with the game in St. Louis. Jim Kelly and the Bills having a heck of an afternoon, 42-19. The Bills are leading the Rams, and for Jim Kelly and Derek Holmes. Kelly, 4 touchdown passes. Holmes, a 38-yard touchdown scamper there as the Bills look to improve to 9-5 on the year. They're leading it 42-19. In Philadelphia, the Eagles and the Cowboys are tied at 17. The Eagles have stopped the Dallas Cowboys on 4th down and are looking for the winning score. They are tied at the vet in Philadelphia. In Carolina, the 49ers win their 5th straight. The Niners win it 31-10 over the Panthers. Steve Young threw for 336 yards and 2 touchdowns. In Atlanta, Morton Anderson has kicked 2 55-yard field goals and 1 from 51 yards out. The Falcons lead the Saints late, 19-14. In Jacksonville, Indianapolis with a 41-24 lead on the Jaguars as the Colts look to go 8-6 on the year. In Cincinnati, the Bengals lead the Bears by 6 late in the game at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. In Foxborough, the Patriots have just fallen behind the New York Jets 21-17. Boomer Esiason with a go-ahead touchdown pass here, 3 yards to Adrian Morrell. Esiason has thrown 3 TD passes today. The Jets leading New England 21-17. And in Houston, the Detroit Lions with a lead over the Oilers 24-17. About a minute to play in that game in the Astrodome. Steve McNair has come on to quarterback the Houston Oilers. Right now, we send you back to Oakland and Denver, and we'll see you again at halftime.
From Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, it's the 6-7 Seattle Seahawks against the 7-6 Denver Broncos. Both teams still with playoff hopes. The updated wild card picture, assuming wins for Buffalo and Indianapolis, both of which lead handily. Denver, if it wins its last 3, is assured of hosting a wild card playoff berth. Seattle must win its last 3 and get some help to make it into the playoffs. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley, along with the fabulous Bobby G, Bob Golic. Big week in Seattle, Bob, where the Seahawks picked up the nearly $8 million option on quarterback Rick Meyer's services for the next 2 years, and not everyone was sure they would do so.
Well, you know, they changed his offense around to try and help Rick Meyer out early in the season, threw a ton of interceptions, took him out mid-season, replaced him with John Freeze, have since brought him back. He's throwing less interceptions, but make no mistakes, he's still leading the league in interceptions thrown.
Nevertheless, the Hawks beat the Broncos in their first meeting, and if they were to do it again today, the formula would likely have to be the same. Give the ball to Chris Warren.
Without a doubt, he had a game against the Broncos in the first part of the season that was incredible. 3 touchdowns by himself, which was his personal best. But the key is that because of his running game, they had the ball for 37 minutes, keeping John Elway and that offense off the field.
Well, the story of the Broncos, as always, has been another terrific offensive season for John Elway. Needs to win 3 in a row to get them into a good playoff berth, and John kind of likes situations like that.
Yeah, well, John's kind of done situations like that against me personally, so I know what it's like. Hey, I tell you what, if you're the Denver Broncos, you want nobody else but John Elway leading you in these last 3 games.
Elway this year playing with the privilege of the best running back ever to suit up and play with him here in Denver.
Well, just basically forgotten about in the draft till the 6th round. You see there he's going to be the lowest draft choice in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards in his rookie season. But not only has he run well, but his ability to open up the running game has really helped John Elway and his passing game.
On the Seattle sideline, rookie head coach Dennis Erickson hoping to even his ledger at 7-7. On the opposite sideline, Mike Shanahan in his second tour of duty as an NFL head coach. With the Raiders and with the Broncos, he's never gotten a win over the Seahawks. Seattle has won the toss and will receive going from right to left. And although it was only 10 degrees here yesterday, the temperature has now risen to a balmy 56. And the wind, 13 to 16 miles per hour, but we're told gusting as high as 30 miles per hour at times. So that could be a factor in the game. Number 31, Steve Broussard, deep at the goal line for the Seahawks. And Jason Elam prepares to kick it away for the Broncos before yet another sellout crowd in Mile High, the 204th straight home sellout for Denver. Broussard at the 5-yard line. Holmes almost got a hole in the middle. He stopped at the 27 by Rondell Jones, the reserve strong safety out of North Carolina. And we quickly take a look at the lineups for the Seattle offense and the Denver defense. On the offensive front for Seattle, they have gelled and played together as a unit since early in the season. James Atkins having taken the left tackle job from former #1 draft pick Ray Roberts. Meyer triggers the offense. Joey Galloway has had a spectacular rookie season at wideout. When they go to 4 wide, Steve Broussard is in the game as a setback, and Ricky Prohl and Rob Thomas are the 3rd and 4th receivers. Meyer throws in the flat to Chris Warren, and Warren has a pickup of about 5 before middle linebacker David Wyman makes the stop for the Broncos. Here's the Denver front 4. Missing pass rusher Dan Williams today. Harold Hasselback fills in for him. Simon Fletcher playing perhaps his last regular season home game as a Bronco. Broncos lack big play linebackers. In the secondary, they have a perennial Pro Bowler in free safety Steve Atwater. Randy Hilliard is the 3rd defensive back when Shanahan's team goes to the nickel. Ball at 2nd down 9 after a gain of only 1. Simon Fletcher makes the stop as Warren goes on 2nd down.
Well, we talk about Simon Fletcher playing in possibly his last home game. Top left-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see him come clean from an upright position, unblocked all the way in. Hey, nobody touched it like that. You better make the tackle. Simon Fletcher, a great part of this defense for a long, long time. Trying to help out a lot of new guys this year, develop some chemistry with this defense.
Sack last week. Fletcher has 96.5 in his career. And now it's 3rd down 8 for Meyer and the Hawks. 3-step drop. Harold Hasselback. So Hasselback in for Williams, fills the role.
Well, all the way across the front, you got to give these guys credit. You said Hasselback's in for Williams. You're going to see him at the bottom of your screen, number 96. Coming up on the outside, but one of the other keys, too, is number 93, James Jones, giving him nowhere to run up front and no vertical lanes in front of him, so Hasselback had an easy shot at getting a hold of him.
Rick Tootin on to kick it away, his 65th punt of the season. He's averaging 44.4. Glenn Milburn, very dangerous, deep for Denver at the 30-yard line. Milburn at his 30. A little slip, some room to the middle, and now he's back to the sideline and free near the 50-yard line. He's knocked out of bounds at the 48 by Rick Tootin, the punter. And if Tootin doesn't make the play, Milburn goes the distance.
A great job, first of all, Tony Brown right in position, but misses a tackle. At this point, Milburn just using his moves, his small size, giving him the quickness to just avoid a lot of tackles. Finally, some good angle there by Tootin to make the play, but a great run by Glenn Milburn.
46-yard punt and a 19-yard return for Milburn. Broncos start with excellent field position at their 48-yard line. This is Terrell Davis, and a tremendous play on the corner by Carlton Gray, who took on the blocker and Davis and got them both. Denver offensive front, Gary Zimmerman having another good year and hoping to go back to the Pro Bowl. They've done a terrific job this year protecting Elway as he throws out of the quicker rhythm passing attack. Pritchard and Miller are the starting wide receivers. When they go to 3 wide, Milburn comes in for the fullback, and Ed McCaffrey is the 3rd wideout. Terrell Davis got up shakily and went to the sideline. So Denver trainers look at their prize rookie running back as Milburn replaces him in the lineup. And now Milburn with free space down the middle of the field, knocked down at the 31-yard line, and again, touchdown saving tackle by Eugene Robinson. We welcome those of you who just saw the Indianapolis Colts beating the Jacksonville Jaguars by the score of 41-31. I'm Jim Lampley, along with Bob Golic here in Denver. Seattle 3 and out in their first possession. Then a good punt return by Glenn Milburn, and there, in a play from scrimmage, Milburn just went for 21 yards to give the Broncos a first down at the 30-yard line of the Seahawks. Terrell Davis and Aaron Craver in the game behind Elway. Here's Davis, and Davis is outside and free. Robinson gets him down at the 3-yard line. Make it the 2.
Boy, they are just working it up front on the line of scrimmage. That whole side of that line, watch the right side here just collapses. Number 90, Taryn Wooden tries to come up and make a play, but he's like the last hope. Everybody else sucked inside, and the quickness of Terrell Davis to be able to kind of scoot sideways and get to that perimeter really paid off here.
28-yard run. You saw the subtlety of Davis's moves. The half step got him past Corey Harris and free outside the corner. It's 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. Denver hot recently in the red zone. And a touchdown for Aaron Craver.
Well, why not give it to Craver? He was a halfback in the beginning of the season until Terrell Davis took over. When Terrell Davis did so well, they moved Aaron Craver to fullback. Still has the ability to get in there and run as a halfback, as you see there.
So a 2-yard touchdown run for Craver. Jason Elam on to try to add the PAT. Excellent start for the Broncos as their first possession produces a touchdown. And with 11:08 to go in the first quarter at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos and John Elway have the positive start they wanted. They lead the Seattle Seahawks 7-0. Ever get fed up with the politicians in Washington?
Oh, man, let me tell you a story. Oh, no, I'll tell you later, Jim.
You will?
Yeah, I'll tell you my politician story later.
All right. Okay, fine. I was jumping the gun just a little on the promo as you look at Aaron Craver, former Miami Dolphin, number 29, who's 5th-year player out of Fresno State. Was expected to be the #1 tailback for Denver when they lined up in preseason, and they discovered rather quickly that Terrell Davis was going to fill the role. Quick statistics on the scoring drive: 4 plays, 52 yards. Of course, the 2 key plays, a 21-yard run by Glenn Milburn and a 28-yard run by Terrell Davis, and a tremendous start for the Denver offensive front.
And you know what was good about it? They came out with Terrell Davis, obviously got nicked on the first play, but then they put Glenn Milburn in. Milburn is a different type of running back, obviously, than you're going to see in Terrell Davis. He's smaller, he's a little quicker. They had the perfect play for him. John Elway went back in the backfield, gave him a draw play deep in the backfield, let him, with his quickness, kind of hesitate, use his patience, find a hole. Once he saw it, man, you saw the explosiveness that he has as he took off downfield.
And a look at Milburn in the background as they continue to work along the sideline with Terrell Davis to be certain that Davis will be in tip-top shape for the remainder of the game. Number 31, Steve Broussard, amid triple deep backs for Seattle as they await the kickoff. Elam preparing to kick it away from his 30-yard line. Well, I asked you, Bob Golic, if you ever get fed up with the politicians in Washington, and the reason I asked that is because tonight on NBC, Eddie Murphy gives them the business in The Distinguished Gentleman. It's coming up after our regular early programming lineup at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. And I never saw that movie. Maybe I'll get home in time to watch it.
I have seen it. It's very good. I run a lot of movies.
That's coming up tonight on NBC. Elam kicks it away. Very deep. Broussard will watch it bounce out of the end zone. And so it'll be a touchback. And Seattle will start its second possession of the football. 11:08 to go in the first period when we come back. Bring it back to Mile High Stadium. Denver scored on its first possession of the game to give the Broncos a 7-0 lead over the Seahawks with 11:03 to go. Dennis Erickson, one of numerous Seahawks contingent members bothered by flu this week. Dennis was still dogged by the flu as the team arrived last night. Other prominent Seahawks to have battled the flu this week: Rick Meyer, Chris Warren, fullback Tracy Johnson is still, we're told, under the weather as the game gets underway today. We might see a whole lot of Max Strong, number 38, at fullback.
Which wouldn't be a bad thing for them because he has come into some games and really been a big difference at the end of some of the games they've won.
Excellent receiver out of the backfield. On first down, Warren gets the call. The man who dominated the first game between these two teams earlier this year is stopped by Alan Aldridge after a gain of about 3.
Well, like you said, he's the guy that's going to have to set the tempo. You know, early in the season, they said about Chris Warren, they said, we don't want him to run as much. He took 90% of the snaps last year. They wanted him to get more involved in the passing game. Well, as the season progressed, they found out that he needs to run the ball for this team to be successful.
Warren being pursued by 2 rookies for the conference rushing title. Curtis Martin of New England is number 2. Terrell Davis of Denver is number 3 at this moment. On second down, Meyer throws in the flat to Tracy Johnson, and he's belted down by Alan Aldridge, playing well for the moment on the weak side of the Seattle offense.
Well, one of the things we've seen problem-wise with Rick Meyer is he really hasn't been able to settle his feet down. He sits back in the pocket, and you notice his feet are just kind of anxious. He doesn't patiently look for his receiver. He looks very nervous back there. That time dumping it off in the flat for basically no gain.
So it's third down 8. Seahawks facing third and long for the second time in the game. The first one produced a sack by Harold Hasselbeck. And here comes the pressure again, and again down goes Meyer, this time back near the 6-yard line, and there's number 73, Simon Fletcher.
Well, Simon Fletcher, he's got about 96.5 career sacks, and at this rate, he's going to do pretty good to maybe top that 100. But watch him here on the top of the screen, once again working against Ballard. Just rips under an arm there, and Michael Dean Perry again, a big slasher up front, providing the pressure right up in the middle. Nowhere, once again, for Rick Meyer to go.
Perry deferred to Simon Fletcher as they reached Meyer, and I think Simon's going to get the whole sack, make it 97.5 in his career. Tootin from deep in the end zone, and waiting right at the 50 is Milburn, and here he comes. Trouble. Milburn lost his footing at the 19. He had free grass between himself and the end zone, but Rick Tootin, for the second time in the game, was able to get him down.
Boy, I tell you what, when he first took this, it looked like nobody was there to block, but watch reserve linebacker Keith Burns are right there, just leveled, stone out, leveled that guy, opening up the route for Milburn, but initially, just his quickness alone getting them through till he picked up a couple of key blocks.
43-yard punt, 31-yard return. Broncos began their first possession at their 48. Now the second one begins at the 18-yard line of Seattle. Davis. Down to the 10 before Corey Harris and Eugene Robinson bring him down.
Well, Terrell Davis is still down, and this time grabbing his leg. This is not something the Broncos can afford. He's been nicked twice already in the short time the game has gone on. But it seems like the Seahawks are really playing him to run the middle. Both times he's had long runs, defenders have closed in him in the middle, and he's just bounced it to the outside to pick up the extra yardage.
Anthony Miller trying for the lead block in front of Davis, who was working against Corey Harris. Now Davis will come to the sideline, and we'll be back.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich. Get something you love for the holidays. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by MasterCard. It's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
And from Aspen, we bring you east to Denver. Second down 2 for the Broncos. Give is to Craver. And Craver working forward toward the chain. Is close to a first down, maybe a half-yard short. Quick look at the Seattle defense. And, of course, front four, pressure falls on Cortez Kennedy to do the best he can against the red-hot Denver offensive line at this moment. Linebackers and secondary. Dean Wells took over the middle linebacker spot when Tyrone Stowe went out with a broken arm. Blackman and Robinson, a couple of veteran safeties, and Selwyn Jones, former Colorado State Ram, is the 5th DB when the Seahawks go to their nickel. Davis back in the game at running back after a brief rest on the sideline, and they give to Craver, looking for the third down conversion, and he's got it. It'll be first and goal for the Broncos for the second time in the game. Quickly, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, Barry Switzer will be on the barbecue down in Texas this week. 2 consecutive 4th and 1 tries from his own 29 late in the game failed. The Eagles take over, and from 42 yards out, Gary Anderson wins it with a minute and a half to play. The Eagles beat the Cowboys today 20-17. Jim?
So it'll be fried Switzer, the dish of the week in Dallas. On first down, the give is to Davis, and Cortez Kennedy wraps him up almost immediately. It'll be second and goal from about the 6.
Well, I'll tell you what, the last 2 plays, Cortez Kennedy has just grabbed guys and physically stopped all of their forward momentum. This guy is a load, and you noticed that last night. He came in a little anxious last night and talking to us.
When we're NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1992. Cortez has been criticized by some in the past couple of years, but he and his teammates say, I'm still playing at the same level. He's still playing at the same level. On 2nd and goal, Elway throws the fade to Miller, and it's overthrown in the corner of the end zone as Corey Harris, converted running back who plays the right corner for Seattle, was giving chase.
Yeah, but also, once again, Cortez Kennedy really with a quick move up in the pit got into John Elway's face and forced him to throw the ball, lofted up a little higher than he probably would have liked it. You know, when we talked about that the first time, the article in Sporting News saying that he was one of the top overrated people, we had mentioned that in the game. Cortez came in our meeting last night as though you were the one that made that comment, but I straightened him out.
We're old friends. On 3rd down and goal, Elway under pressure, and it's caught by Miller, but he's pushed out a yard short of the goal by Selwyn Jones. Big play by Jones, preventing the TD. 4th down, Elam will come on. Crowd wanted to try for the touchdown, but it's very early in the game.
Well, not just the crowd, but the offensive line were all standing out in the field just going, go for it, go for it. And once again, John Elway, the way he likes to do it, back in the shotgun. Once again, a little bit of pressure, but just throws that fade out to the corner. Great play by Selwyn Jones to keep him from getting in the end zone.
So Elam will attempt the field goal. And the 18-yarder is up and good with a flag down. They'll make it officially a 19-yard field goal by Elam. First penalty flag of the game is against the Seahawks. You see Elam limping off.
Let's put John Elway back on the field.
So the 3 points aren't yet on the board.
Well, once again, the offensive lineman just out there going, we got to go. Let's go for it.
Running into the kicker, number 30, on the return team. Penalties accepted, half the distance to the goal line, still 4th down.
You can see Corey Harris at the top of your screen just coming in late. And, you know, nothing malicious there, Jim. Just actually not even paying attention to where the kicker's leg was as he watched the trajectory of the ball. But the rules say that you have to protect the kickers.
Inadvertent but terribly damaging penalty charged against Harris. Now the only way the Seahawks can escape the damage is to stop this 4th and goal touchdown try. So the Broncos elect to take the 3 off the board. They go with Craver and Davis behind Elway. The give is to Craver, and he's met and dropped. Number 90, Terry Wooden, with a huge play from outside linebacker for the Hawks.
And the rule of thumb, Jim, has always been you do not take points off the board. Coaches always say that. Why at this point you make that decision, I don't know. But you're going to see Terry Wooden come in and just make a great job, not just of making the hit, but of stopping all momentum and keeping him out of the end zone.
So the Seattle Seahawks are down only 7-0. We'll be back.
On the sideline, linebacker Terry Wooden, the Seattle Seahawks stopping the Denver offense on about the 1 foot line.
So now Meyer and the Seahawks, who have done little offensively in their first 2 possessions, must move it from the half-yard line. The fake to Warren. Meyer looking deep downfield and overthrows intended for tight end Carlester Crumpler. Quickly, another look at the Broncos' 4th and 1 try.
Well, as a defense, you send your front line guys down low to cut the legs of the offensive lineman, allowing a lower trajectory for the linebacker to come over and come free and make the play. Exactly what worked on that play.
Nobody blocking Terry Wooden. He found Craver and kept the Broncos out of the end zone to Dennis Erickson's great glee. Terry Wooden, over 100 tackles this year for the 4th time in his career. 2nd down 10. Meyer gives to the up man, fullback Mac Strong, and Strong is near the 5. Let's quickly check in with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, and we'll take you out to Oakland, where the Steelers have jumped on top. Neil O'Donnell, 37 yards out, a perfect strike to Ernie Mills. The extra point has the Steelers leading 7-0. Pittsburgh working on a 6-game winning streak. Jim?
The The red-hot Steelers with the longest winning streak in the league this year. And now Meyer and the Seahawks facing third down, 6 yards to go. Throwing from the end zone, he throws into a thicket of defenders, and it goes through the hands of both Atwater and Braxton.
This has been one of the knocks against Rick Meyer. Early in the game, it just seems like he gets nervous and tries to place the ball. When he does that, he just loses, all his accuracy. Watch him here. He's no pressure, wide open. There's a guy sitting there waiting for him, and just totally overthrows it.
It was intended, as you saw, for Chris Warren. Instead, it leaves Rick Tootin punting from deep in his end zone for the second time in the game. They have not yet been able to stop Glenn Milburn on punt returns, and Milburn will get another chance from his 36. A lot of wide open territory, free sideline. Tootin misses the tackle, and they finally get him down at the 21. It was Raphael Robinson who made the touchdown-saving tackle this time. We welcome those of you who've just seen the Buffalo Bills beating the St. Louis Rams by the score of 45-27. I'm Jim Lampley along with Bob Golic here in Denver, where at the beginning of the game, Glenn Milburn helped to set up a Denver touchdown with a big punt return. Now here's his third electric punt return of the day.
And all it came down to, it was a low-driving punt. He got the ball before Seattle's coverage people had a chance to get down and get any kind of heat on him.
59-yard punt, a 44-yard return by Milburn. You see Dave Arnold, the Seahawks special team coach, going nuts on the sideline. Elway throws in the flat to Aaron Craver. Craver gets past Wooden and is out of bounds near first down yardage at about the 11. Robert Blackman making the stop from strong safety.
Well, it looked like Wooden was supposed to be man-to-man on him. Gave him a little bit too much room. You see Wooden on the right side of your screen, watching Craver as he backs out or comes out of the side there, just giving him way too much room. As you can't do that, especially with a quick guy that has some moves. He's going to burn you and leave you laying there in the grass.
The Broncos on their first possession got a 1-yard touchdown run from Aaron Craver following big runs from scrimmage by both Milburn and Davis. On their second possession, they were stopped on 4th and 1 from the 1-yard line. 4th and goal from the 1. Now here's Davis looking for yardage inside the 10. Carlton Gray making the stop. The Broncos had picked up the first down on the preceding run, so it'll be 2nd down 8.
Well, so far, look at this. Total yards, this is the name of the game. Denver, not only have they had great field position, but with that field position, they've been able to rack up a lot of yards, 80 yards. Seattle, negative so far, minus 13.
Meyer twice sacked, deep in his own territory. Milburn with the 3 long punt returns. It's been all Denver in terms of field position. On 2nd down, Elway looks, comes out of there, and gets dumped. Number 94, Antonio Edwards, will get credit for the sack. Sam Adams, number 98, was also there. Great coverage by the Hawks.
Great coverage by the Hawks, and that's why John got sacked. He had Mike Pritchard open right over the middle for about a split second. Didn't see him there, and look, you can just see nobody to throw to. At that point, John does what he does best, trying to run. You see Anthony Miller, covered very, very well by Corey Harris. John with nobody to throw to, tries to do what he does best and run the ball, but too many defenders chasing him.
Good technique by Harris there, preventing the square out pattern. Elway on 3rd down, gets away from pressure, throws in the end zone, but well covered back there was the intended receiver Anthony Miller, as Carlton Gray was with him. And now Shanahan will send Jason Elam onto the field again. Earlier, the Broncos, for those of you who joined us recently, the Broncos took a field goal off the board to try for a touchdown after a penalty gave them 4th and goal inside the 1.
And I'd venture to say, they get these 3 points on the scoreboard, they're going to stay there regardless of what happens.
Elam's attempt from 29 yards out is good. So with 3 minutes, 19 seconds still to go in the first quarter, dominated by Denver, the Broncos lead. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Bring it back to Mile High Stadium, where the Broncos lead 10-0. 3:19 still to go in the first quarter. Wearing the Breathe Right bandage across his nose on the sideline is the NFL's prize offensive rookie so far this year, Terrell Davis of the Broncos. Another kickoff for Denver's Jason Elam. And Steve Broussard takes it. This time Broussard is across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Let's quickly take a look at what has happened so far in this game. In their very first possession, the Broncos, after a terrific punt return by Milburn and a 21-yard run by Milburn, gave it to Terrell Davis, who took it 28 yards down to the 2-yard line to set up a short touchdown run by Aaron Craver. That made it 7-0. Then, with a chance to make it 14-0 after taking a field goal off the board, and a penalty had given the Broncos 4th and goal inside the 1, as you saw there. Craver was met and stopped by Terry Wooden, and Dennis Erickson said, we've got some of the momentum back. Since that time, another Milburn punt return, an Elam field goal, and it's 10-0. And here Chris Warren, with his most effective run of the day, has a gain of about 8, but there's a penalty flag down, and as you look at Davis, he's headed for the Denver locker room.
Well, twice early in the game, we've seen him get nicked, getting up slowly, staying on the ground. This is not good news, as well as Aaron Craver's running for the Broncos.
Offside, defense, number 97. Penalties declined. First down.
Former Missouri Tiger quarterback Gary Lane is our referee today, and the penalty there against Mike Lodish of the Broncos is declined.
Well, Chris Warren got that run by himself, because it might have been Lodish's aggressiveness. They really blew up that counter play. Chris Warren cutting it back to the backside, picking up the yardage on his own.
Give Warren credit for 11. He came in as the AFC's leading rusher. If he has a good day, he'll retain that distinction. Second down, Warren gets outside and manages to gain a few. David Wyman finally gets credit for the tackle, and you saw how passive the Bronco tacklers were, not wanting to commit and give Warren a chance to slash through a hole.
Yes, but there was great pursuit by the defenders. They ran that counter at the OT again. Once again, a lead blocker coming up and blocking for Chris Warren. But everyone that missed the tackle, there was another one to fill for him until they got him out of the sideline.
Pick up of 2, second down, 8. Frustrated so far by a heavy pass rush, horrible field position, and here's another incompletion as Simon Fletcher batted the pass into the air.
Well, he's the guy, like you said, the last home game for him in Mile High Stadium. I'm sure he wants to make it a
regular season
one. The regular season, right.
If they have a playoff game here, that'll be his last one. But yeah, you're right.
He is kind of the last of that defense that so many people for so many years considered to be undersized. At 240 pounds, he's kind of the smallest guy in that defensive front.
Seahawks 0 for 3 on third downs. They haven't been able to block anybody in their 2 previous third down pass attempts. This time Meyer releases, and it's almost caught by Ricky Prohl. Flag down, ball thrown behind Prohl.
Once again, we're seeing real inaccuracy by Rick Meyer.
Holding, offense, number 74. Penalties declined. Fourth down.
James Atkins drew the flag, but instead, the Broncos will let the play stand, leaving Seattle 0 for 4 on third downs, all of them attempted passes.
And this has been one of the big knocks on Rick this year. I mean, you see this pass here, he's got plenty of time to throw. He throws it to Prohl, and he throws it behind him. He's not hitting guys in stride.
Tootin deep to punt. Here comes Milburn again. Tootin goes with the long kick, so the coverage is still back upfield as Milburn gets started, and a flag goes down, and Milburn is stopped inside his 10-yard line. 52-yard punt by Tootin. Considerably better coverage this time by the Hawks.
Well, finally, it looks like the Seahawks are going to get some field position, but you're right. We saw their special team coach just going wild on the sidelines. I'm sure he had a little bit of a discussion with his special teams player.
Terrell Davis is being X-rayed right now.
On the return team, number 39, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Broncos will be playing offense now without Terrell Davis. Here's the play on which we think he was injured, Bob.
Right, Corey Harris came up, came up and made a nice play right on the knee. You can see there, kind of snapped it and hyperextended it, and it was Carlton Gray who came up and made the play, but kind of hyperextended the knee, and that, well, I think it was his first play from scrimmage.
So Davis is being looked at now, and in his absence, The running backs are Milburn and Craver. Flag down as Elway throws out of the end zone intended for Milburn. Joe Nash is the man who was in putting pressure on John.
Offsides, defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
They flag Antonio Edwards for getting the jump. We talked about rookie rushers. Curtis Martin of New England with 147 yards rushing for the Patriots today. Those are the numbers coming into today. So Martin's 147 today, for the moment, make him the leading rusher in the AFC. Both Davis and Chris Warren will be chasing him. Milburn again. This time Milburn is met by Cortez Kennedy, who's made his presence felt early, and that can't be said for all of the Seahawks.
No, that's for sure. And I don't know if you want to be running Glenn Milburn inside right into Cortez Kennedy. There's a major size differential there.
116 pounds, according to the listed weights. That's a big advantage for Tez. Send me more of those 177-pound inside runners, he says.
That's a meal for Cortez.
Second down. 3 to go. Football at the 12-yard line. Throw in the flat. And here's Milburn, and the Seahawks are having trouble with Milburn's quick acceleration and shifty moves. The tackle's made by Corey Harris, but the Broncos convert for a first down.
And one of the keys now, too, is that the defensive front, except for Cortez, occasionally are not getting to John Elway. He's not getting a whole lot of pressure in his face.
Greg McMackin's Seattle defense prepared for the slashing style of Terrell Davis. Might not have expected to see as much of the water bug Glenn Milburn from scrimmage as may turn out to be the case today. First down. Elway dropping straight back. Complete to Miller. And Miller's going to have another first down for Seattle. Corey Harris knocking him out of bounds and giving Miller, for the moment, a respectful cushion.
No, good job of John finding his receivers, but there's going to be a holding call against the Broncos.
Holding, offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Ryan Habib blocking against the veteran Joe Nash and picking up that flag.
Now, you know, they've brought in a real nice offensive line and bringing Habib and Zimmerman in from Minnesota a couple of years back. They bring in Mark Sclair from Washington this year. They bring in Broderick Thompson from Philadelphia this year. So they've brought in a nice crew of veteran offensive linemen.
And they have an Alex Gibbs, one of the more respected offensive line coaches in the league. Big penalty takes the Broncos back inside the 10. Elway throws to Milburn. Milburn splits defenders out to the 20. Carlton Gray is there to make the tackle along with Winston Moss. And that will be the last play of the first quarter. So in Mile High Stadium in Denver, the Broncos looking to win 3 in a row and sew up a playoff berth at a 10-0 lead after 1.
Well, look at the key here. A sack by Simon Fletcher. A sack by Harold Hasselbeck. Leave the Seattle Seahawks at minus 22 in their passing game, which matches their rushing game yardage, so they're at 0. Right now, Seattle, if they're going to do anything, has to get Elway off the field and get some of their offense started.
Second down, 8 for the Broncos. Down the middle to Milburn. And complete to the 35-yard line. He picks up another Denver first down, so they overcome the holding penalty that had taken them back inside the 10-yard line.
And they know who they're using. Glenn Milburn, 22 on the left side of your screen. He's going to come up right between Dean Wells and Terry Wooden, right in that zone between the two. John knows it's wide open, especially for a guy his size and his quickness.
And you can see how the Broncos are going to make up for the absence of Shannon Sharp working the middle of the field. So far, they appear to be planning to do it with the running backs. First down 10 from the 35-yard line. Terrell Davis now out of the game for the moment. We wait to hear more about him. Milburn's having a field day in his absence. Terry Wooden makes the stop, but it's a gain of 8. Well, the third-year star out of Stanford leads the National Football League in kickoff returns. Hasn't had a chance to return a kickoff yet.
Seattle's been using Winston Moss as a blitzer. Look here, he blitzes on the outside, so he's out of position. Right there, Glenn Milburn's got a big old hole to bust through and pick up some yardage.
Call it a gain of 9. Make it second down, 1 yard to go from the 44-yard line. take a look at former Raider, former Bob Golic teammate, Winston Moss. On 2nd and 1, Elway wants to take a deep shot, and he goes for Miller. And Miller is out there, and a flag goes down as Corey Harris was frightened enough of the situation that he pulled Miller down from behind.
Well, to talk about guys that are starting to develop a chemistry, John Elway and Anthony Miller, because John Elway, Miller wasn't even looking. Elway just laid it up along the sideline the way he can do so well.
And Harris actually had pretty good coverage and pretty good position, but seemed not to realize it.
I think he started to distrust himself a little bit. He felt like, oh no, John's throwing it. Maybe I'm not in good position, and he seemed to kind of get a hold of Anthony Miller.
Gary Lane's crew working this out. It looks like it is a face mask call. Here's Harris.
Yeah, well, Harris comes up, and basically he's face guarding. He's not even making a play for the ball. He's just got his hands up in the front of Anthony Miller's face, and you can see his hand just kind of dragged across the face mask.
Well, I assume the booing has to do with the fact that if this is face mask instead of pass interference, then they'll bring it back to the 44-yard line and mark the penalty from back here.
And here you see the route and a little bit of bumping and shoving going on down the sideline. But like I said, Miller's just going on.
Multiple fouls. Pass interference, number 30 on the defense. Personal foul, face mask. Half the distance from the interference, first down.
So in all, as Dennis Erickson considers yet another calamity for the Seahawks, maybe the league's most star-crossed team, the penalty will take the football from the 44-yard line of Denver all the way down inside the 10-yard line of Seattle.
Well, Seattle's defense is having a hard enough time gaining any kind of confidence in stopping the Denver Broncos as it is. When you start adding in penalties, which is just giving them tons of yardage, this is not going to help their psyche at all.
Interference plus half the distance to the goal line for the face mask penalty. And Lane and his crew continue to work on the placement of the ball. 13 minutes, 32 seconds to go before halftime. A game in which the Seahawks have scarcely gotten anything going, save for one 11-yard run by Chris Warren and one touchdown saving tackle by Terry Wooden on 4th and goal for Denver. Beyond that, it has been all Broncos.
Interference is a face mask at the same time. The face mask is declined. The interference is accepted from the 20-yard line, first down.
There you go. They can't be penalized twice on the same play unless it's a personal foul of the roughness quality.
Okay, yeah. This was more incidental. He didn't maliciously grab and yank the face mask, kind of dragged his hand across it.
So instead of half the distance to the goal line, they simply take only the pass interference penalty, and the football will be placed at the 20-yard line. You look at Milburn's totals on the day, 95 yards in punt returns already, 160 total yards, and we are 13 minutes before halftime. Milburn and Craver back behind Elway. On first down, Elway throws, and it's the tight end, Dwayne Carswell, with the first catch of his career. Terry Wooden makes the stop for the Seahawks. Of the two tight ends playing today for the Broncos, Dwayne Carswell and Byron Chamberlain, neither had caught a pass coming in.
Right, nice little bootleg here by John as he runs it so well. Number 70, Michael Sinclair reads it well, but here's the throw, and look at that, one hand pulling it in. A great concentration by Carswell.
Elway telling us yesterday, I think we've got a diamond in the rough in Carswell. Craver in motion. Elway on second down. Complete. Touchdown, Miller. 6th consecutive game with a touchdown catch. 13th touchdown of the season. Anthony Miller stays hot with Elway pulling the trigger.
And as we said in the open here, look at it, it's his 13th touchdown reception, tying the Broncos single season record, which is very old, 1981.
That's before Elway played here.
That's right. Great job by Anthony Miller. And like we said in the open, John Elway said, hey, this is the best wide receiver that I've had in my career.
So Miller extends it to 16-0. Elam's kick is good, just inside the left upright, and with 12 minutes, 46 seconds to go before halftime, the Denver Broncos now lead 17-0.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and have Domino's deliver the ultimate deep dish pizza by halftime. Because when it's gotta be deep, it's gotta be Domino's.
And we're back in Denver, where Anthony Miller has just caught his 13th touchdown pass of the season, basically outrunning Carlton Gray to the flag, Bob.
Flat out one-on-one coverage. He made a move to the inside, and it was a foot race. The key there, John Elway hitting him in stride, not making him break his stride at all, just continuing that speed.
Elam kicks it away. Broussard with yet another kickoff return. This time he'll come from 2 yards deep. Belted down at the 17-yard line. Number 31, Rondell Jones, was there, along with number 38, Reggie Rivers. And flags are down.
Now watch, you're going to see Anthony Miller come from the right side of your screen. He's one-on-one coverage with Carlton Gray. Gray just loses him. Look at the separation these two got. And as I said, Elway hitting him right in stride. Nothing to stop him to get to the end zone. Watch it right here. This is where it makes a difference. Beats him there, takes a shallow route. Carlton Gray loses any kind of position on him. After that, it's just a foot race. Boy, he has become.
Hands to the face on the kicking team.
Did you see Miller's skills? That's the way that Gary Lane tells us. Illegal use of hands on the kicking team.
I mean, the amount of technique that Miller uses right there at the line. The little
use
wiggle.
the official as a screen?
Yeah. You're allowed to
I'll
do
just
that.
step inside of this guy so that he's between me and Gray. Beautifully done. 1st and 10 for the Seahawks, and the 5-yard penalty moves it out to the 22-yard line. Warren with the football, a little bit of a seam, and Warren is wrestled out of bounds by number 39, Ray Crockett, and in 10 yards out of bounds, he takes another hit. And here's Terrell Davis, who has returned from the Denver dressing room. And we continue to await a report on the nature of his injury. We know it is probably the right knee. In fact, we're pretty doggone sure it's the right knee. We just don't know the extent.
Yeah, it just, like I said, that first play that he had from scrimmage in the run, he got hit right on the knee, kind of hyperextending it, and I'm sure he's got a little bit of swelling and soreness in it right now.
And he's saying, but hey, I had a 28-yard run after that.
Yeah.
How could I be hurt? On 2nd down, Warren again, and Warren busts it across the 35 to the 36-yard line. The Seattle 1st down. Tyrone Braxton made the stop for Denver, and now Warren limps off.
And they cannot afford that.
Oh, boy.
He is like the only guy that has been getting any kind of production for this offense.
You see Warren and Payne there. Alan Aldridge, number 57, made the tackle for Denver. No, check it. Aldridge is down at this moment. So players on both sides nursing hurts after that play. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By the Citizen Watch Company. Citizen is how the world tells time. And by Magnavox. At Magnavox, we make technology people want. Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line after Chris Warren's 11-yard run. Now with Warren off the field, the Seahawks go with Steve Broussard at tailback, and Broussard has a meaningful gain on 1st down. Jeff Robinson making the stop.
And you're going to see right there, Chris Warren takes a shot in the left knee by number 48, Lionel Washington. He takes a shot there. You see the knee kind of twist, and also he falls on the ankle, so could be a knee or ankle injury there, but definitely the shot from Lionel Washington.
Ankle was torqued. On 2nd down, Broussard gets 1st down yardage for the Seahawks across the 45 to the 48. Seahawks are down 17-0, but they've looked miserable in the passing attack. They're much better when they can run the football, so that's what they're going to try to do, even though Warren is out of the game.
Well, there's no way that they can't exist without a running game. Rick Meyer early in this game has just been way off with his passes, throwing them high, throwing them behind receivers. They have to get a running game going.
Atlanta with the key win. As you look at scores at the bottom of the screen, Indianapolis needed that one. Cincinnati needed that one. Steve Broussard again with the football, and on the opposite sideline, Terrell Davis of the Broncos continues to plead with trainers to let him back into the football game, and now it looks as though he's once again headed to the Denver locker room.
Well, we had heard that he was going to get his knee wrapped and try and go, but it looks like he's going to need a little bit more treatment than that.
Now Lamar Smith in the football game at tailback for the Seahawks as they go on 2nd down 8 from the 49-yard line. Could be that Broussard and Smith will have to carry the load for the Seahawks the rest of the day. And Smith with the football here gets across the 50 to about the 49 before James Jones brings him down. Seahawks badly depleted at running back. They lost Steve Smith a few weeks ago. Tracy Johnson is hampered by the flu today. And now Chris Warren has gone out, so they're down to Broussard and Smith at tailback and Max Strong at fullback.
Well, the one thing they have to key on is they have to get the running game going. If not, there's no way the Denver defense is going to buy any kind of play-action pass.
3rd down 5. Football at the Denver 48. First penetration into Denver territory for the Hawks. Good throw, good catch, and a first down for the Seahawks as Ricky Prohl is there to take it from Meyer. Tyrone Braxton made the tackle.
Well, as I've done so many times, especially with Rick Meyer, you need to get him some confidence. You need to get it to him early, and you can do that with some of the short passes. Here, Rick Meyer, 3-step drop with just a quick little shot. Well placed to Ricky Prohl right over the middle.
Total offense just a short time ago was 142 for Denver and 0 for Seattle. Now the Seahawks have picked up 38 yards on this drive. Meyer again, play fake, wants to go deep. Galloway was open momentarily, but Braxton makes the play, and here comes Tyrone Braxton. Back to the 40, and he falls down before Broussard covers him. That's been the bugaboo for Rick Meyer all year long. It doesn't change today. Be back in a moment. Tyrone Braxton with a pickoff and a 36-yard interception return sets the Broncos up at their 41-yard line. On 1st down, Milburn gives on the reverse, and it's number 81, Mike Pritchard, with the football, and Pritchard is going to have a gain of about 8 out near the 49-yard line. John Elway with a block out in front of Pritchard.
Let's take another look at the interception. As Rick Meyer likes to do, hit the big play to Joey Galloway, but Tyrone Braxton read that right from about the snap. Came all the way across the field and laid up perfectly to make the play for the ball. Great job by Tyrone Braxton.
Good block out in front by Atwater, and Braxton finally said, I like this. This is the 40, I'll fall here. 2nd pick of the year. Milburn and Craver, the running backs behind Elway. Milburn has been a handful today for the Seahawks. He picks up the 1st down for Denver here. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Oakland, Christmas comes early for some people, like Raider defensive lineman Andre Bruce. Neil O'Donnell just gives it to him at the 1-yard line. That's a touchdown for Oakland with the extra point. They now trail the Steelers 10-7, 6.5 to play in the first half, Jim.
Critical game for the Raiders. The Steelers, of course, have already clinched their division. Milburn and Craver, the setbacks behind Elway, and Elway's throw on 1st down is incomplete. Flags go down in the middle of the field against Winston Moss.
Winston Moss had Glenn Milburn one-on-one, and, well, he did a little bit more than one-on-one. I think Glenn just got good position on him, and Winston just kind of lost control of his body, draped himself over the back of Milburn.
Defense, number 55, automatic 1st down.
Now take a look at it right in the middle of the screen here. You're going to see over to the right side of your screen, Milburn trying to break to the inside, and Winston Moss kind of grabbing him on the around the waist there, saying, welcome to the short zone. I'm going to be your coverage man. Call for the penalty.
Hello, I'm Winston, and I'll be your linebacker here. So it's 1st down now from the Seattle 41. Good time for Elway. Overthrows Milburn in the flat. Get the feeling we're going to see a lot of Glenn Milburn today?
Got a feeling we're going to see a lot of Glenn Milburn. Right now, Seattle knowing that they're going to have to start putting some pressure on John, and I'm sure that's something they knew going into the game. So they've got to start bringing some backers and start blitzing some people.
Broncos so far showing no ill effects in the absence of running star Terrell Davis. Out for the moment with a right knee injury, and the latest report is that they'll check Terrell at halftime. Meanwhile, on the opposite sideline, Chris Warren, we're told, has a sprained ankle, but should be able to return. Second down 10. Nickel defense in the game for Seattle. The pitch is to Craver. Craver with a nice move inside, breaks a tackle, and gets first down yardage. Eugene Robinson knocked him out of bounds. Gary Zimmerman with a big block out in front.
Oh, yeah, Gary Zimmerman got out in front, leading the way. Selwyn Jones, the corner, had moved up to play support on the run on the outside, but Selwyn Jones at 185 pounds is no way going to stop 300-pound Zimmerman. You can see the left side right there. Nice block, get him off his feet, and Craver doing a little bit of extra work on his own.
Another first down for Denver in the running game. They're moving the football on the ground consistently without Davis. And the offensive linemen say, see, we did have something to do with it. And there's Craver, and another big run, and a flag goes down as Craver pops inside the 15 near the 10. Robinson again has to make the stop.
Well, I tell you, I don't know what happened there. The Seattle defense, Antonio Edwards had come out pretty much untouched from the outside, but Craver cut it back up inside, so Edwards didn't even have a chance.
Holding offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Former Washington Redskin Mark Sklereth picks up the call there.
You're going to see Mark, number 69, right in the middle of the pack there. Pulling the guy, holding on to the front of the jersey. You know, they don't mind if you get the hands into the guy's chest, and they don't really say much if they grab the jersey, but if the guy's trying to get away and pursue the play, and you hold on to the jersey, then they're going to throw the flag.
So instead of first down at about the 12, it'll be first down 20 to go at the 38. Seahawks show blitz, don't bring it. Elway throws to an open spot in the flat as number 70, Michael Sinclair, was bearing down on it.
Well, they gave him pressure from the outside, so John had to step up. He thought he had some room in the middle of the pocket to step up and throw the ball. Watch up on the outside. Edwards on one side. Sinclair working the other side. He steps up, but pursued by Sinclair. And now that's usually where John Elway shines, when he gets a little bit of a hassle where he has to run. He really has good concentration usually on finding his receivers.
Elway sacked fewer than 20 times this year, considerably lower number than in recent years past. Second down 20. The pitch is to Milburn. Milburn with Zimmerman in front. Doesn't get a chance to read the block as two Seahawk defenders fight him off, and Eugene Robinson makes the tackle.
Well, Selwyn Jones went back and told Eugene Robinson after that play, a couple of plays back, said, I ain't doing this by myself anymore. They're going to run the perimeter with Zimmerman leading the way. I want you to come and help me.
And Eugene said, all right.
All right.
I'm an 11-year veteran. I have to do that every once in a while. I'll come and get it. What a great guy Eugene Robinson is, huh?
Oh, wonderful. Very entertaining at our meetings.
The most. Third down 16 with the football at the 34-yard line. Craver in motion. The give is to Milburn. And Milburn scoots for about 6, but nowhere close to first down yardage. Sam Adams made the initial hit. And Jason Elam is coming onto the field with his unit for the Broncos as they'll try to stretch it to 20-0. Number 16, punter Tom Ruin is the holder. And this is the only action Ruin has seen today, holding for Elam's many kicks.
That's amazing. Midway through the second quarter, they haven't even punted yet.
A long try from the 46. It'll actually be officially a 47-yard try, but it goes through as Jason Elam continues a hot year. He's now 27 of 32 after that 46-yarder makes it 20-0. 4 touchdown passes today. As you look at Chris Warren on the Seattle sideline, along with rookie phenom Joey Galloway. Denver leading 20-0. 5 minutes to go before halftime. Elam coming off a 46-yard field goal, puts the foot to the ball. Corey Harris allows it to go out of the end zone, and the Seahawks will start from their 20. And this, as we remind you, next Sunday here on NBC Sports, possibly critical AFC West matchup for the Broncos. Elway rallying the Broncos. They hope to have Terrell Davis healthy as they have to go to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City to take on the division champion Kansas City Chiefs. In their last meeting, Marcus Allen slashed his way through the snow here at Mile High. The Chiefs handing Denver their only home loss of the season. The Broncos with a chance to go 7-1 at home today, but they have not been nearly so successful on the road, and that's the challenge in the next 2 weeks. On first down, Meyer runs out of the pocket and falls forward to about the 29-yard line. Alan Aldridge there to make the stop for the Broncos.
Well, you know, smart move by Meyer. Meyer just can't sit back there and wait for receivers to open up. He's just a little bit antsy. Hey, get out. Try and get some yardage on your own. Something's going to happen with this offense to spur something offensively so they can get some production.
They have brought Warren back into the game at tailback. So Warren, with his ankle rewrapped, comes back onto the field, gets the call here, and looks none the worse for wear. Penalty flag down. Warren, looking to go the distance, is finally dragged down by Ray Crockett. Now let's see if it's a hold. And if it is, it'll be another Seahawk bad luck moment.
Number 99, Shane Dronette, standing back there at the flag by himself, assuming that he's probably the guy that got held.
Holding, offense, number 52, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Would have been about a 50-yard run for Chris Warren, but the flag is thrown against Kevin Mawai.
We can see at the right side of the line, number 52, as he takes that lead step and hooks up with Dronette. But he gets his hands on the outsides of the pads, and that's what I talked about before. You can make contact with your hands inside the framework of the defensive lineman. Once you get them out on the outside of the shoulder pad, the referee is going to throw a flag.
Tough call against Kevin Mawai, the second-year starting guard out of LSU. Second down, 11 for the Hawks. Meyer's throw hits the intended receiver, Steve Broussard, in the leg. Braxton there on the coverage, and I think if Broussard had turned and looked around, they'd have had a completion and a first down.
I don't know that Broussard really thought that he was going to be the receiver. Looked like at the end of it, he was actually going to go make a throw a block. You see them there. Now, actually, yeah, hit him in the leg. He didn't even, the timing there on the route just off. You know, when you get a guy in there that hasn't been in there before, that's the one thing you got to worry about.
There you go. Broussard not on the field a lot and just wasn't clued in. Third down, 11. Broncos show blitz. Don't bring it. Meyer has time and makes a play. Brian Blades into Denver territory, down the sideline, finally out of bounds at the 32-yard line of the Broncos. And the veteran Blades makes a big play for the Seahawks.
And Jim, you're talking about them giving the additional money to Rick Meyer, what comes down to like an extra $7 or $8 million. This is why. Good patience. You're going to see Blades just kind of finding an open spot. He sees Meyer scrambling. At that point, he's looking for an open area in the zone. But Rick Meyer showing a tremendous amount of poise, finding his way out of the pocket and finding an open receiver.
49-yard pass completion to replace the near 50-yard run they lost when Warren's long one was knocked down by the Mawai hold. On first down, Meyer releases and gets it away to avoid the sack. Christian Fourier, the tight end, was the intended receiver, if you want to call it that. Meyer is shaky. Robinson and Dronette were both there to hit him, and a flag is down.
Boy, that was a late flag, too. Meyer had already been knocked down, and the ref came in late.
And Freeze immediately jumps up to warm up on the sideline. Another look.
Good pressure by Lodish right up the middle. And then Dronette and number 94, Jeff Robinson, coming in to hit Meyer.
And it looked as though it was his shoulder, his elbow, or his wrist, which was bothering him as he hit the turf. Incompletion, second down 10, football at the 32-yard line. I guess the flag was inadvertent, Bob. Give it to Warren on the draw. And Warren has a first down at the 21-yard line. Atwater and Crockett making the stop.
Well, regardless of what happened on the play that got called back for the holding penalty, I think it gave Chris Warren some confidence. He felt himself being able to find the hole, read the blocks a little bit better, and you see him running a little stronger into the hole.
Warren already with 42 yards on 7 carries. looking to regain the conference rushing lead, held for the moment by Curtis Martin of the New England Patriots after Martin's 147-yard day today. Warren again, and good job of blocking it up on the left side of the Denver defensive line. Hasselbach, Jones, Michael Dean Perry all reacting over.
Yeah, good job by number 93, James Jones. Both James Jones and Michael Dean Perry coming in this year as free agents from Cleveland. A great job at getting both of those guys, because it really helps since the two of them have already established a nice chemistry from the years that they played in Cleveland together.
And the 2-minute warning now with 2 minutes to go in the first half. Rick Meyer will check with his staff. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Well, there's a shot of Rick Meyer coming off the field after hit by several players. I tell you what, he looks like his arm is a little shaken up. And we've seen John Freeze warming up, and now
looks like Freeze is
coming into the game. Yep.
Yeah, as Meyer stays on the sideline and being treated for what looks to us like a possible stinger of the left shoulder.
Yeah, look like the trainer had his hand up inside the shoulder pad, kind of rubbing through the muscle area.
Several weeks ago, Freeze was given the starting job ahead of Meyer prior to a game against the Arizona Cardinals. Early in that game, he strained his shoulder with a bad handoff to Chris Warren, and that's how Meyer got the gig back. Now Freeze enters here for an injured Meyer. They fake the reverse to Galloway. Broussard has a hold, but is held to a gain of about 3 on a good play off the corner by Ray Crockett. And Crockett says, I've got the football, and the officials say, hey, the tackle itself was good enough.
Yeah, very good job by Crockett, but that whole defense just flowing well. Tell you what, had they not faked the reverse, had they actually run the reverse, they might have got some yardage, because there was great pursuit by that Denver Bronco defense.
That's the same play which produced for Galloway an 86-yard run from scrimmage against the Jacksonville Jaguars, longest run from scrimmage in the league this year. Wasn't exactly textbook. He came all the way to the right sideline and then went all the way back to the left. Third down, 8 to go at the 18-yard line. John Freeze in the game with no warm-up throws, hits Christian Fourier, and Fourier can't hold on.
What to say, Fourier has really been a sure-handed guy for him. It started off the season with Carlister Crumpler, but very quickly Christian Fourier found himself into the starting role. Dennis Erickson thought he just had a little bit more football savvy than Crumpler did.
And rather than to go for the touchdown, on 4th down 8, they elect to bring on Todd Peterson. Dennis Erickson, in effect, saying, well, I'd rather go to halftime down 20-3 than with no points on the board. And so Peterson will try one from 36 yards, and it's good. Todd Peterson has hit 12 of his last 13 field goal tries for the Seahawks. They trail 20-3. The NFL in Mile High Stadium. The 204th consecutive sellout crowd for a Bronco game. Happy with their Broncos' 20-3 lead over the Seahawks. 1:15 to go before the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll send you to our New York studio. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, and Joe Gibbs will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights in this 15th week of the National Football League season that's coming up at halftime here on the NFL on NBC. Now Todd Peterson prepared to kick it off for the first time all day, and the danger to Seattle is that man, number 22, Glenn Milburn, already with 95 yards in 3 punt returns in this game. Now he prepares to show his talent on kickoff returns, the category in which he leads the conference. Pretty good coverage by the Seahawks as they wrestle Milburn down at the 25-yard line. Max Strong downfield to make the tackle for Seattle, and John Elway with one last word of advice from Shanahan and company as he comes on.
Right now it comes down to this. Does John Elway just try to eat the clock, get some yardage, or does he try and pull his vintage? I got 1:09 left. Let's see if we can go down and score.
Milburn comes off. So the setbacks are Craver and Reggie Rivers now. Terrell Davis out of the game for the moment for the Denver Broncos with an injury to the right knee, extent as yet unknown. First down, Craver in the flat, gets running room, breaks one tackle, and is finally pulled down by the sure tackling Robert Blackman as he picked up the first down across the 35 to the 37. Clock rolls.
And John doing what we said that he does so well. He's got 50 seconds left. He's going to try and get it down for a score.
Now Elway out of the shotgun. This time it's Rivers in the flat. And Rivers is across the 40 to about the 44, and now they'll call timeout to stop the clock with 39 seconds remaining.
Well, John Elway coming to the sideline, they came out with the two plays basically identical. They had Rivers and Craver both set in the backfield. On the snap, both checked to make sure there wasn't a blitz, and then just faded out into the flat. One time to Craver, one time to River. Craver has become a guy that they're relying on heavily, besides Milburn, because he does have the experience as a halfback and has great running ability.
On the opposite sideline, Bob, the report on Meyer is slight strain of the left shoulder, may come back, which also means may not.
Which means let's see how John Freeze does.
Yeah. Meyer hasn't exactly had a red-hot first half, although he did help to set up the field goal with the good toss to Blades off the scramble that became a 49-yard play. Need to get the football to the 48-yard line to pick up a first down. Movement on the hard count, but no flag. Elway down the middle to Miller. Into Seattle territory at the 36. Timeout again. Eugene Robinson with the stop. Wow, how tough to cover is Anthony Miller.
Oh, it really and truly is. Watch him here as they drop back. They showed man early, dropped off in the zone. Jones kind of fading with him, but Miller with all kinds of room. You know, as effective as Anthony Miller is in finding open spots and working his way through man coverage, how can you give him that much room in his zone?
From where they are now at the 36, they are within Jason Elam's field goal range. Elam has kicked the 56-yarder this year and is 5 of 6 from beyond 50 yards.
Well, I don't think John Elway is going to want to make it that difficult for him. He's got a little bit of time, 30 seconds left to pick up. And the way John works and picks up yardage, as you see there, a tremendous amount of yards on one pass to Miller.
Miller 4 catches for 50 yards and 1 touchdown. Elway, controlled game, 10 of 14, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. Plenty of time, and Miller this time can't handle it. Carlton Gray gazed at the ball floating in the air and thought, do I have a pick? No. I don't.
Good pressure, but you're going to see here at the end of the play.
Same play that produced the touchdown.
Exactly. This time Carlton Gray a little closer. He wasn't able to get the pick on the referee as he did the first time. This time Carlton Gray said, hey, you burned me the first time. I'm going to sit just a little bit tighter. And I'm sure that's what the defensive back coach told him, too, after the touchdown pass.
Don't let him have that space. Second down 10 from the 36. Full blitz. Elway releases, picked off. Big play by the Seattle defense. Robert Blackman with the football, and Blackman gets it across the 35 to the 38, and that ends the Denver field goal threat. The blitz paid off for Greg McMacken.
Played off big time. John Elway just had everybody in his face and just laid the ball up in the middle. Watch, you're going to see the blitz coming here right up the middle. Linebackers, you're seeing number 21, Raphael Robinson coming in, but up in his face, and John just lofted it right up there for anybody to catch.
So they were in the dime with 6 defensive backs on the field. Robinson is the 6th defensive back. He came with the blitz and forced Elway to throw the interception into the hands of Robert Blackman, his 5th of the year.
Well, it's got to give the Seattle Seahawks some kind of confidence that they know that they can take the Broncos and shut them down right before half.
16 seconds on the clock. Freeze will operate with 4 wide receivers. Deep looking for Galloway, and it's picked off by Atwater. And Atwater gets it across the 50 to the 48-yard line, and there are still 5 seconds left on the clock.
Well, John
Freeze says, hey, Rick, you throw an interception, I can throw one too.
Well, John Freeze that time threw a beautiful ball. Unfortunately, you're gonna see Brian Blades. I don't know if he threw it too far to Brian Blades or too short for Joey Galloway, but that time Brian Blades looked like the guy right over the top, and Atwater picking up the ball.
Yeah, that was a zone interception because it was impossible to tell who the intended receiver was.
Yeah, Galloway was coming across deep, but Brian Blades was the one that was working short underneath.
They're sending Jason Elam onto the field to attempt what would be an NFL record-breaking 66-yard field goal. The record is 63 by Tom Dempsey. This is from 66 in the thin air of Mile High Stadium. The kicker has a very strong leg, but it's going to be short. Exciting.
Well, they got excited for a moment, didn't they?
So did I. I thought we had a chance to call an NFL record field goal, and Elam says, that was fun. Let's do that every time we get midfield, huh? Now let's go to New York and the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be great and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
All right, Jim, thank you. Welcome back to our studios, everyone. Along with Mike Ditka and Joe Gibbs, I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's run down all the scores and highlights as we have them for you. Beginning with the game in Oakland, the Pittsburgh Steelers have just grabbed the 20-7 lead on the Oakland Raiders as they work their way toward halftime. Just moments ago, Neil O'Donnell, his second touchdown pass of the game to Ernie Mills. That one good for 14 yards. And the Steelers, working on a 6-game winning streak, lead the Raiders 20-7. In Denver, the Broncos are leading the Seattle Seahawks by the same 20-3 score in the game that you are watching. And at the Meadowlands in New York, the Giants are leading the Redskins 13-3. That game has gone now to the second half. Earlier today, the Buffalo Bills, an offensive explosion in St. Louis. 45-27, they beat the Rams. Big day for Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. They hook up for a 1-yard touchdown, made it 14-10 Bills. Thomas also rushed for 129. In the second half, Kelly to Steve Tasker, 28 yards. Second time they connected in the third quarter. Kelly with a bad shoulder threw 4 touchdown passes. The Bills poured it on. Derek Holmes finds a hole and rolls. 38 yards, his second TD of the day. He combined with Thomas for over 200 yards on the ground. 42-19, Buffalo wins it. They go to 9-5 on the year. They finish against Miami and Houston. In Philadelphia, the Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys today 20-17. Bizarre game from a Cowboy point of view. Emmitt Smith takes the handoff, 10-yard touchdown. He breaks his own team record for touchdowns with his 23rd of the year. The Cowboys led 17-6 at halftime, never scored again. Late in the third quarter, Eagles come back. Ricky Waters, 1-yard touchdown. That and the 2-point conversion made it 17-14. A field goal tied the game. Late in the fourth, Cowboys at their own 29. They go for it on 4th and 1. Emmitt is stopped, but the officials ruled the game clock had ticked down to the 2-minute warning. So Barry Switzer gets a reprieve, right? He does the same thing. He tries it again. Smith is stacked up. The Eagles take over at the Cowboys 29. Michael Irvin was less than pleased. With 1:26 to play, Gary Anderson kicks the gamer from 42 yards out. The Cowboys back into the postseason with a victory, but with a loss, 20-17. The question is, gentlemen, what was Barry Switzer thinking?
Well, that play has changed the entire playoff in the NFC. And I would say, first of all, now, what's amazing about this, the first time they go for it, the officials give him another try, and I think that was a good place for instant replay there, because I think he actually snapped the ball and it was legal. You got time to think about this. Okay, turn around and go with the same play again. I don't question that, but I do question the call of even going for it. Yeah. So I think Barry Switzer is going to take some criticism, and deservedly so.
Mike?
I would have put the 2-minute defense in. That's what I would. No, I tell you what, this is a sequel to Dumb and Dumber. I mean, you got to put your team in the best position to win, and that is not the best position. Philadelphia plays pretty good defense right now. So, I mean, I don't like the call. I'm not questioning anybody, but that was Dumb and Dumber.
All right, meanwhile, the Eagles move to 9-5 on the year. They beat the Cowboys today 20-17. Dallas falls to 10-4 in Carolina. The 49ers, with their 5th straight win, improved to 10-4. They beat the Panthers today 31-10. Panthers sell out for the first time in franchise history. More than 75 thou on hand. Niners first possession, Steve Young to Derek Lovell for a 4-yard touchdown. Lovell later ran one in for a score. Late in the first half, Young 20 yards to the rookie wide receiver J.J. Stokes. Boy, the 49ers, Young got 336 yards throwing and 2 touchdowns, and the Niners have now won 5 straight. They win it 31-10. In Atlanta, the Falcons over the New Orleans Saints 19-14. That loss eliminates the Saints from any playoff hopes. Jacksonville's Jaguars fall to Indianapolis today 41-31. The final score, the Colts are 8-6. In Cincinnati, the Bengals beat the Bears 16-10. bitter cold at Riverfront Stadium, minus 12 degrees with the wind chill in the third quarter. Jeff Blake to Darnay Scott. This is 38 yards and a touchdown. The Bengals went up 16-3. They held on against the Bears, who can't do anything on the road in December. They have lost 16 straight on the road in December. The NFC wildcard race looks like this: Minnesota, St. Louis, and Chicago on the outside, looking in at Philadelphia, Atlanta, and Detroit. In New England, the Patriots the New York Jets today, 31-28, the final score. Boomer Esiason threw for 4 touchdowns, but they fell, and the Houston Oilers fall to Detroit today, 24-17. The Oilers are eliminated from the postseason. We'll send it back to Denver for the second half right after these messages and news headlines from your local station.
In Mile High, the Broncos lead Seattle 20-3. We'll be right back after these messages from your local stations. Jim Lampley along with Bob Golic back in Mile High Stadium in Denver, where the Seattle Seahawks suffered through another of their miserable first halves, and the Broncos took advantage of great kick returning by Glenn Milburn to take a 20-3 lead.
Oh, you're right. I mean, early on, the field position was a key, but then the key became after that. Seattle just couldn't get any offense going. The second quarter, they finally were able to establish something, but even with a lead in time of possession, they still haven't been as productive.
All 110 offensive yards for Seattle came in the latter part of the second quarter, and by that time, the Broncos were in command. Here's Milburn again. And he gets loose down the sideline on a kickoff return and continues to bedevil the Seahawks with long returns. Selwyn Jones knocked him out of bounds. The Broncos will start with good field position.
Well, the first play from scrimmage, you're going to see Terrell Davis, their rookie running phenom, hyperextend his right knee right there. He went out, not seen for the rest of the day. Glenn Milburn is the guy who stepped in his place as a running back, but here, 3 returns for 95 yards in punting situations, really has been the guy that has put the Denver Broncos in great field position in the first half.
Those 3 punt returns for 95 yards helped to stake the Broncos to a 17-0 lead. Later, Rick Meyer left the game with a shoulder pain. And on the first play of the second half from scrimmage for Denver, Aaron Craver has a gain of about 7 before Dean Wells makes the stop for Seattle.
As you can see here, the Denver Broncos, right in the beginning, you're talking about the 50-yard line, 48-yard line. Seattle's 18, Seattle's 20, all leading to scores early in the game. Even the one time that they started on their own 5-yard line, still able to generate enough offense to get a touchdown.
And you see Meyer along the sideline, where he'll stay now for the rest of the game unless there's an emergency situation. Craver again. Seahawks getting pounded up front by the Broncos offensive line. Robinson and Blackman, the safeties, making the stop.
Well, as we said before, Craver's a guy who has played halfback before Terrell Davis took over. But watch the offensive line just dominating there. The linebackers coming up to fill, and everybody accounted for on that defensive line. Not able to get a free from their offensive blockers.
Aaron Craver with 7 carries for 40 yards in the game. The Broncos blockers up front haven't felt they've gotten enough credit. They should get it today. Pass to Milburn in the flat. Milburn is wrapped up, but not before he gains 7 yards. Corey Harris making the stop for the Hawks.
But that offensive line up front for the Denver Broncos, really, they're a group that, what we found out yesterday, a very close group. Really a lot of fun. And I knew Alex Gibb, their line coach, for a number of years. I came up, gave him a big pat on the back and stuff. They fined him $15 for showing affection to a media guy. So, they have a lot of fun, but you see them out here all work.
Second down 3. The give is to Craver, and Craver fighting to try to move the chain. He's going to be about a yard short of a first down after the tackle by Winston Moss. So they fined Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach, for demonstrating affection for a media guy, namely yourself.
Right.
Now, Mark Sklareth came to a meeting with us. Did he get fined too?
Well, I happened to mention that we had talked to him, and the guy said, "Oh, Mark talked to you too." And then they started writing up fines for him on the board too. So a very close-knit group. They've been brought in over the last couple of years. Some from Minnesota, Washington, Philadelphia, but really a nice, solid, strong group up front.
On 3rd down and 1, the setbacks behind Elway are Aaron Craver and Reggie Rivers. Broncos in a tight formation. Flags go down. They've got the first down with Rivers plowing up the middle. Now we'll await the call from Gary Lane's crew.
A perfect situation to pick up that first down. You get those guys jumping up front on the defense. all of a sudden they're fighting to get back. They no longer have the footwork to get explosion up front. The offensive line has the advantage.
Offsides.
Gary Lane quarterbacked Missouri against Steve Spurrier's Florida team in the Sugar Bowl in 1965.
Defense, number 95, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Offside against the defense. Dean Wells, the middle linebacker, drawing the flag. And so they keep the play. The first down run by Rivers. And with the football at the 33-yard line, Elway operates on 1st and 10. Pritchard in motion. They give to Milburn. More open space for the Waterbug from Stanford. Blackman makes the stop, but Milburn is close to another first down.
I don't know what happened. They moved the linebackers. Look at number 90. Terry Wooden was up in the line of scrimmage, but on the snap, he backs off. He loses all momentum up into the line of scrimmage, gets blocked, and you see him there kind of getting dragged downfield a little bit, you know, because he just doesn't have any good upfield attack. They're showing that 8-man front by sliding guys up, but on the snap, they're sliding back off again.
It was a gain of 11 down to the 22. First down 10 from there. Milburn again, and this time they've got an answer, holding him to a 2-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down 8.
Well, it came down to this. Terrell Davis was their offensive threat that they hoped would dominate the running attack. Since he went out, they've really balanced it between Glenn Milburn and Aaron Craver as the guys that they want to go to. Between those two, really covering for Terrell Davis very well.
Broncos, we remind you, operating without Terrell Davis, their rookie running sensation. He'll be gone the rest of the day in his absence. Glenn Milburn totaling 249 yards so far with plenty of football left to be played. And Milburn again. Might not play a whole lot of football for the remainder of the season if they keep running him inside like this, because he only weighs 177 pounds. Robinson makes the stop, but another nice pickup for Milburn.
And also watch at the end, you're going to see number 69, Mark Sklareth, coming, finishing up a block on Terry Wooden. So you're seeing everybody up front really completing their blocks from the start of the play to the end of the play.
Tremendous job by the Broncos. Milburn with a gain of 5 that time. It's 3rd down 1 now from the 13-yard line. Milburn out. Aaron Craver and Reggie Rivers will be the setbacks behind Elway. Again, they go from the tight formation on 3rd and short. This time, Dwayne Carswell appears to jump offside.
No, that wasn't even a flinch. That was...
Prior to the snap, false start, number 89 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Like I said, that wasn't a flinch. That was more of a, what are we going on?
Tell me that snap count again.
I thought it was 1.
Haven't played all that much. Broncos lost 2 tight ends to injury last week. Both Shannon Sharp and his backup, Jerry Evans, out.
But John likes Carswell.
Oh, he thinks he's great.
Well, first of all, because he's a great blocking tight end. Secondly, he goes, we're starting to get on the same page as far as the pass game goes.
And you saw Carswell's one-handed catch in the first half that shows he can catch the rock. On 3rd down and 6 yards to go, Elway throws, complete in the flat. First down yardage down near the 5-yard line. It's the 3rd receiver, Ed McCaffrey. Robinson made the stop for Seattle.
Well, cool, calm, and collected. John Elway from the shotgun once again, where he loves to work. Got Cortez Kennedy in his face, but again, the zone's just sitting back, way too much room, way too much cushion between them and the receivers.
Seahawks can't take advantage of a break. The offside penalty turns 3rd and 1 into 3rd and 6, and they allow the conversion anyway. Elway and the Broncos trying to add to their already imposing lead. Blitz, Blackman, fumble, free ball, and here goes Antonio Edwards. No Bronco near him. He's going to go all the way. No flags down. This will be a Seattle touchdown.
Wow, what a hit. John Elway did not even see that one coming.
And how sturdy is Elway? He's up and walking off, apparently unfazed by this, but he got blasted.
There's Blackman right there. John looking the other way and straight in the chest. John not even sensing that coming. But like you said, the key is John got up before Blackman did. Again, John looking for the 2 receivers out in the left flat. taking a big shot. Antonio Edwards rambling.
So a sudden and significant change in the game, as what was about to be 27-3 could become instead 20-10. 83-yard touchdown return of a fumble by Antonio Edwards, third-year defensive end out of Valdosta State. Todd Peterson, who had a field goal in the first half, on to add the PAT out of Rick Tootin's hold, and he does. And on the strength of the big play by Robert Blackman, the Seahawks are back in the game. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. By Tylenol Flu. Get tough on your flu with Tylenol Flu. By Kodak. What film is in your camera? And by McDonald's. Have you had your break today?
There's
Well,
Robert
Blackman on the sideline after a big hit causing a fumble. John Elway's fumble. Touchdown return by Antonio Edwards to make it 20-10.
And let's see what that does to liven up the Seahawks now back in the game. Just 10 points down. Good kick by Peterson. Milburn elects not to bring it out, and that's a pretty positive event for the Seahawks. And after Antonio Edwards' return, they've cut the margin. We'll be back.
We see Antonio Edwards, who just returned a fumble for a record, the longest fumble return, 83 yards in Seahawk history, followed very shortly after that by the longest draw of oxygen from an oxygen tank by any player. We timed it at 30 seconds.
Yeah, we set an oxygen inhalation record.
We're assuming now that there will be an IV hooked up, so, but we'll keep you tuned to that one.
Milburn and Craver behind Elway as the Broncos start from their 20. Milburn looking for space, upended in the open field by Robinson, number 41, who's going to have a couple of bushels of tackles today.
He's definitely going to. They want to rely on him in the running game and coming up and make some plays, especially when you can get Milburn to make a couple of cuts and take some time getting the line of scrimmage. Gives Eugene Robinson a chance to come up there and slice through.
Gain of 4, or check it, gain of 6, second down 4. Football at the 26-yard line. Plenty of time for Elway. Complete. First down yardage. And it is Milburn on the catch, getting a lot of work today. Carlton Gray with the stop.
Well, he was being chased. Milburn is being chased by Winston Moss. Kind of a mismatch there, the type of mismatch the Denver Broncos want to get. But luckily, Carlton Gray from the quarterback position was there to follow up and help Winston out.
Oh, really? Okay.
If you had said before the day began, John, not only will you play without Shannon Sharp, but you're going to play without Terrell Davis, too. Broncos would have been pretty concerned. But to the moment, they lead 20-10 off a brilliant performance by Milburn. Give here's to Craver, I should say, who's also been playing well, and Dean Wells stops him after a gain of about 4.
Well, you got to think that the Seattle Seahawks at this point are got to have a little bit of confidence. You know, their defense was able to get a score, to make some things happen. And, you know, now maybe they're feeling a little bit more confidence. Dean Wells, a very strong inside linebacker, especially in the run game.
They still haven't really been able to stop this offense. Another win for Detroit, Bob Golic. Boy, did the Lions look hot last Monday night.
Well, I tell you, they talk about their post-Thanksgiving games, and they really are. They're proving it.
Blitz picked up. Plenty of time for Elway. Over the middle of Carswell. Can't hold on. They made a one-handed catch in the first half, but should have been able to hold on to that one.
Without a doubt, he should have been able to hold on to that one. He caught him right over the middle. You're going to see John drop back. He's going to get some pressure inside from Cortez. Joe Nash up in his face, but as he throws it right there, Carswell just having to turn right through his hands. Easy catch to make. And again, you know,
the Bronco first down. Instead, it'll be 3rd and 5.
Right.
Yes, Bob.
And they just haven't had the time spent together. Obviously, this week they probably spent a lot of time working, but until game situations come about, you don't know what your timing is going to be with the guy.
4 wide receivers in the game for Denver. Blitz. Winston Moss coming up the middle. Terry Wooden coming also. Bats the pass away from Elway. So the Seahawks are starting to make things happen on defense with gambling.
Well, initially they wanted to stay base so John wouldn't burn them, by not having any backers. Now they're bringing backers. Winston Moss up inside. Because Winston Moss blitzes inside, Aaron Craver has to go pick him up, leaving Taron Wooden wide open to go in and make the play on the ball.
And there's Joey Galloway deep to look for a punt for the first time today. Tom Ruin standing at his 21-yard line. Galloway has been muffled in the game. No receptions. This will be his first kick return, if in fact he gets a chance to do it. And Ruin's punt bounces well in front of Galloway, rolls dead at about the 33-yard line, or rather is downed by a Bronco there. Rondell Jones downing it. Denver leads 20-10, the NFL on NBC. John Freese on at quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks here in Mile High Stadium. Rick Meyer was injured before the end of the first half, strained left shoulder. He'll play only in an emergency. Next Saturday, following the Steelers-Patriots game, NBC Sports presents the Lexus Challenge, hosted by Raymond Floyd. Celebrities, Clint Eastwood, our own Bryant Gumbel, various others, pairing up with golf's biggest names like Nicklaus, Palmer, Ray Floyd. Game's newest event, the Lexus Challenge, next Saturday on NBC, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris Warren is the setback behind Freese. Freese gives to Warren, and Warren is dragged down from behind on first down by David Wyman, surest tackler among the Denver Bronco linebackers.
Well, Wyman was moved out to the outside and really had a wide open shot at making the tackle. There was a lead blocker coming around who probably should have come out and kicked him to the outside, but instead turned upfield to go look for another linebacker, leaving Wyman free to make the tackle.
Warren able to grind for 2. Excuse me. Second down, 8. 6:15 to go in the third period. Freese, not sharp so far. He missed Brian Blades down the middle there, and Blades had just broken free.
Yeah, he was looking down the middle. He had about 2 or 3 receivers crossing inside. A lot of congestion. The linebackers really jamming them up. Blades was the first one to come free, but obviously just a little bit too late for Freese to accurately throw the ball.
Third down, 8 yards to go. Mile High crowd rising in intensity to try to lift the Bronco defense. Screen overthrown by Freese. Warren, the intended receiver, and John Freese showing the rust which accumulates during weeks of inactivity.
Well, they set up the screen there, which involves letting the defensive lineman come through, but you got to slow him down a little bit. You're going to see Michael Dean Perry almost untouched, rut in his face, and like you said, really showing some rust early on.
Rick Tootin on to kick it away for the Seahawks. They've had desperate trouble trying to handle Glenn Milburn on punt returns. Kick high, not terribly deep. Reverse as Milburn gives it away, and they handle it. Number 39 with the football was Ray Crockett. The Seahawks were able to see the reverse. You saw Raphael Robinson make the play downfield. 44-yard punt by Tootin, and there's a flag down after the return.
Well, obviously everybody, as much credit as you were given to Milburn, you knew that the Seattle coverage team was really going to respect him. Not a bad call by the Broncos.
And the penalty against Denver.
Illegal block in the back on the return team, number 31. 10-yard penalty. First down. TV timeout.
TV timeout, as you heard Gary Lane mention. We'll be right back to the NFL on NBC.
Well, Terrell Davis being out of the lineup for the Denver Broncos. Glenn Milburn has moved in as a big part of the running game, but also in the return game. Every time he's touched the ball, he's done something. 17 touches today, 267 yards. The man is he's a thorn in the side of the Seattle Seahawks so far today.
When the Broncos used a high draft choice on him 3 years ago, the idea was to provide a third down back who could be explosive and add another wrinkle to the Elway-led offense. They didn't envision using him in a situation like this as the key running back in a game they must win, but he's coming through so far. way downfield. Picked off by Harris. The intended receiver was number 81, Mike Pritchard, and Harris, the converted running back, who was beaten for a touchdown in the first half, makes a big play here.
Oh, that's not a usual throw for John. He looks short. I'm watching all of his underneath guys were covered man-to-man. Good coverage. John just lays it up there and lets Pritchard work for the ball, but Corey Harris in great position to get up and make the play.
Terrific play by Harris. Kind of a defensive throw by Elway, who got rid of it downfield, but without an open receiver. And so the Seahawks get another possession from their 41-yard line. 5:42 to go in the third period. Seattle trying to tighten the game further. Warren with room. Kind of picks his way forward for 5 yards. Alan Aldridge made the stop for the Broncos. It's a run like that that makes Chris Warren so deceptive. You look at the open field and the speed with which he moved, and you say, well, he didn't do much with that, but at the end of the game, he's got 120 yards.
Right. He really goes in there and works for everything he does. And that time, he cut it back all the way across the grain to the backside of the play. Luckily, they had Clifford Hicks sitting back there for just that reason.
Second down 6. Warren busts a tackle at the line of scrimmage and falls forward for about 3. It'll be 3rd down and 3 coming up. The football at the 48.
It's just amazing how successful he could be year in and year out. And because the Seattle Seahawks as a team aren't having that kind of success, he never really got the notoriety.
And as you look at scores at the bottom of the screen, we had the long discussion of free agency in today's pregame show. Chris Warren is the key potential free agent here. He has a chance to become an unrestricted free agent after this season. And the Seahawks are working to try to sign him now. 3rd down 3. Warren with the ball. Has to reverse his field, and that time the Denver defensive line with the Seattle blockers to shut off the run.
Well, they've made some changes, and they're instead of playing, you remember the old days, they used to play 2-gap with a 3-man front. Everybody kind of playing man-to-man. Now watch them slash gaps. Number 93, James Jones, is the one that really breaks in the rhythm of Chris Warren, with David Wyman coming in to fill up. But right now what they're doing is they're hitting those gaps, and they're breaking his rhythm before he can turn his shoulders to the line of scrimmage.
So Newton's on the punt again. Milburn this time at his 10. Comes up, allows it to bounce. It takes a Denver bounce across the 25 to about the 26-yard line. The Broncos will not be nailed in the shadow of their own goal line, though Seattle had a chance to do it. 3:46 to go in the third period in Mile High Stadium. Jim Lampley along with Bob Golic. Broncos protecting a 20-10 lead. Seattle narrowed the margin to 20-10 after it was 20-3 at halftime on an 83-yard fumble return by Antonio Edwards. They've had 2 chances with the football since then, but Dennis Erickson's team hasn't been able to do much. Now the Broncos will start again from their 25. Erickson, bothered by the flu all week, as were many of the members of his team. Hard to say how big a factor that's been in the playing of the game today. 1st and 10 for Elway and company. Terry Wooden moving toward the middle of the field. The give on 1st down to Glenn Milburn. And Milburn has a gain of 5 out to the 30 before Winston Moss made the stop. Bob Golic, what about free agency in the National Football League as you look at Winston Moss, who came from the Raiders to the Seahawks?
Well, first of all, free agency has helped some guys. You've seen, and it's helped some teams to pick up some players. But in the long run, I think it's been a detriment to a lot of people, and it's because of one person.
2nd down, 4 yards to go. They gave Milburn credit for a gain of 6. Here, he's down after a yard. Who is the one person, Bob?
Well, Gene Upshaw, who is the guy that runs the players' union, just basically went out and, in my opinion, had his own agenda. He wanted free agency, and he was going to get it at any cost. And because of that, he traded free agency for a salary cap. And, Jim, because of that salary cap, there's a lot of good veteran players who are just starting to make it in that league, just starting to make some money, who all of a sudden are being asked, hey, would you mind taking a pay cut down to the league minimum? Or if you won't be playing anymore.
You see the call going against the Broncos. Seahawks will accept the penalty, and the mark-off will take it back to the 23-yard line. Bob, what about the players who benefited from free agency?
Well, look at the guys who are benefiting. Who's benefiting? The rookies coming in are still getting paid exorbitant amounts of money for basically for what they did in college, which because of the salary cap, really there's not enough money to spread out around the good experienced veterans, the middle of the road guys.
As for the superstars,
they get the big money too because everybody wants them. They can move around freely around the league.
Elway's throw is complete in the flat to number 80, Rod Smith. Smith's first catch of the game, and Winston Moss makes the stop, but it's a big play for the Broncos, which eats up the penalty yardage and the original 10 yards and gives Denver a first down.
Well, after a couple of big plays by Seattle with the fumble recovery for the touchdown, it was up to the Denver Broncos to find some way to get back on track, and but way to do it, John Elway.
So what you're saying is that by pushing for free agency at all costs, Upshaw and company helped to South Americanize the league. A growing gap between rich and poor, and the losers were the players in the middle.
Exactly.
Milburn on first down, again with open space, and a gain of about 7 before Carlton Gray and Eugene Robinson make the stop. This promises to be the sorest evening of Glenn Milburn's 3-year professional career.
You know, Jim, back in '87 when we were on strike, the Browns as a team took a vote, listed the top 10 demands. We had free agency as number 8 on our list. We called Gene up. We told him that if it's holding up negotiations, don't let it. He came into town, told us, you know what, you guys are the only ones that are saying that. You're letting down the union. You're breaking the union. We find out afterwards there were a number of teams that felt the same way we did.
Second down and 2 yards to go after Milburn's 8-yard run. Here's another big one. That'll put him over 100 yards for the day. He's down to the 21-yard line. Another touchdown-saving tackle by Robinson, who's had about a half dozen of those today. What a game for Glenn Milburn.
And this is what they did. They wanted to avoid. Early on, they played base defense. They figured, now we've got to blitz to try and put some pressure on. Well, they blitz on the outside. Well, the middle of the defensive line wide open. And Glenn Milburn, with his little quickness and that little jutting move, very easily finds a good spot to squirt through.
29-yard run there. Milburn, 14 carries for 118 yards rushing. You see the returns, including close to 100 yards in punt returns. And he goes off the field for the moment. Aaron Craver with the football. Denver starting to get very thin in the running back category. Milburn will catch his breath and come back. Raphael Robinson made the stop for the Seahawks. It'll be second down 8 with the football at the 19-yard line.
What amazing numbers. Over 300 yards now. You talk about a guy, not only is he going to be sore from running up the middle and taking some hits from some big guys, but just general running, man, he's going to be worn out.
And on that last play, the third quarter will come to a close. So the Denver Broncos have regained the momentum in the game. They lead 20-10. They've got the football at the 19-yard line and a chance to take it in again. And we'll be right back to Mile High Stadium after these messages from your local station. Fourth quarter begins in Mile High Stadium. What's at stake for the Denver Broncos? If they can win their last 3, they'll host a playoff game here in Mile High. Second down 9 from the 19-yard line. Glenn Milburn again. Milburn, having a sensational day, is upended by Corey Harris and number 93, Brent Williams.
Well, Corey Harris basically going, I've had just about enough of you today, Milburn. You are all over the place. Corey Harris hitting him. Watch, you're going to see Harris come up, hits him with one of those form tackles where he just buries it in the chest, wraps around the legs, and just lifts and plants.
Milburn with more than 300 all-purpose yards today, rushing, receiving, returning kicks, has broken a Bronco team record already. Plenty of action left in the game. Elway's pass on third down is picked off by Robinson. So again, the Seattle defense presents a possible big touchdown for Denver. There's a flag down as Corey Harris tries to go the rest of the distance. Harris is knocked out of bounds by number 81, Mike Pritchard. Now we'll wait to see what the flag is for.
It's going to come back. I tell you, Cortez Kennedy was the one that got into John Elway's face, forced him to throw the bad ball. But on the return, Cortez Kennedy also found number 75, Brian Habib, to block him, and pretty much, no, maybe it wasn't Habib, I think it might have been Broderick Thompson, and just laid him out, but kind of hit him from behind.
Third interception thrown by Elway. He's also surrendered a fumble that was brought back for a touchdown. So on an otherwise good day, John has not been free of mistakes.
Now, like I said, Cortez got up in his face again. Are they going to call holding?
There's Eugene
On the
Robinson.
interchanging team, illegal block in the back, number 98. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the Seahawks do get the football, but after the call of a legal block against Adams, they're going to bring it all the way back inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Change of possession stays intact. Field position dramatically different than what might have been the case. Seahawks need offense. Their defense is making enough big plays to keep them in the game. Freeze, complete to Galloway. Galloway's first catch of the game, working against Lionel Washington, takes it out to the 30-yard line.
Well, you remember they tried to hit Galloway early, trying to get a big play with him early, throwing it down the field, ended up in an interception. Here they're just working intermediate route, just bringing Galloway across. He's a guy that, you know, we think of him as a big play receiver, but also he can be a possession guy.
And just as the Seahawks have to respect Anthony Miller, the Broncos must pay that respect to Galloway. Again to Galloway, and this time behind him, flag goes down as Joey can't hold on.
Well, the ball was thrown behind Galloway. He really had to kind of lay out and get down, try and get a hold of it.
Pass interference, defense,
Boy.
48, automatic first down.
I don't know about that. Lionel Washington had him covered close. You can see the right side of the screen.
I didn't see it.
There was nothing there at the end of the play, and the flag comes in just about now at the end of the play. Now, if he chucked him after 5 yards, you think the flag would have been thrown a little bit earlier and in the area of the infraction.
Crowd makes its feelings felt. John Freeze operating at quarterback in place of the injured Rick Meyer for the Seahawks. Here the give is to Chris Warren, and Warren is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Number 57, Aldridge there again, along with Wyman, 92, Braxton, 34. All of them have made several tackles today.
Well, the Seahawks are trying to run the counter tray. It's hitting really, really slow. And part of the reason for it hitting slow is that the Denver Bronco defense is hitting all the gaps. They're getting through the initial guys, and they're knocking off the secondary blockers.
Second down 8 after a gain of 2 by Warren. Football right on the midfield stripe, as you see. Blitz. Freeze releases. Great catch by Blades. Fumbles. And it's Bronco ball unless they rule it an incompletion. And they're going to call it incomplete. It was Steve Atwater, who's known for big hits, who separated Blades from the ball.
Boy, I tell you what, had Brian Blades been able to hold on to that, that would have been a great catch. But watch this, little play action, going to drop it off to Blades right over the middle. He goes up high for it. But you can see he's kind of bobbling the ball. He hadn't pulled it into his body, really didn't have control, and Atwater goes, that's what I do best.
Now the Bronco fans are thinking, well, gee, that should have been called a completion and the fumble recovery. But instead, it's third down 8 for Freeze and company. 3 wide receivers to the left. Freeze goes there to Blades, and he's free down to the 31-yard line. Big catch by the veteran Brian Blades, Rondell Jones, and Steve Atwater with the stop. Third catch for Blades.
And Brian Blades was locked up against Ray Crockett. Crockett actually looked like he had him a little bit of infraction. He kind of had him by the back shoulder. Blades was able to pull his arm free and make the catch. Took some nice yardage.
What a season for Brian Blades, playing under the pressure of a manslaughter rap in Florida related to the shooting death of his cousin, but nevertheless able to produce. On first down, Warren breaks the tackle and gets free for 6. Braxton was there to knock him out of bounds.
Again, offensively, the running game just seems to be developing so slowly, but the defense also seems to be getting lulled into a kind of a false sense of security where they think they've got him hemmed up. All of a sudden, Chris Warren, who is a guy who keeps fighting, really bounces to the outside to pick up a little extra yardage.
And talk about keep fighting. There were several occasions when it appeared that the Seahawks were in danger of getting blown out of this game, but they've got a chance to narrow the margin to 3 if they can take this one in. Strong in motion behind Freeze. Warren again. Shakes one man. and is knocked out of bounds by Wyman. James Jones had a shot at dropping Warren for a 5-yard loss and couldn't hold on.
Boy, that part of the game, just the perimeter stuff, just isn't working. What they're doing is they're giving it to him and letting him try and fade to the outside. What's worked for these guys is when they start inside and bounce it to the outside, because the defense seems to converge very quickly on the center of the field. The penetration by James Jones is just incredible up front.
Warren may be wondering why he's running pitch sweep to the short side of the field where there's not a lot of running room. And as the play clock was running down, timeout is called. The NFL on NBC will continue.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura, who introduces the Acura SLX, the most civilized way to leave civilization. By Microsoft, where do you want to go today? By the new Schick Tracer FX, designed for sensitive skin. And by Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, nachos, and a whole lot more.
75,000 or so fans in Mile High Stadium hoping to root the Denver Broncos home to their 7th home win of the year. NFL's best home record. They've had trouble on the road and have to go to Kansas City and Oakland to finish the season. So they need this win badly. They lead 20-10. It's 3rd down 3. Warren has the first down and more for Seattle.
Well, we talked about it. Trying to run perimeter with him just wasn't going to work. This time they go back to the interior run. Chris Warren just blows it wide open. And watch at the end of the play, too. You're going to see him bust through the line here. He just bides his time. He sees his hole. Look at that. It explodes right there.
Cut.
But Tyrone Braxton right here slips. You can see him right on the ground, slips, and wasn't able to recover to make the tackle. He was the last guy that was in front of Chris Warren, but as he made the break to make the tackle, he slipped and couldn't get to him.
And nearing the goal line, Tyrone Washington, getting ready to go high, knew that he had no chance. So Warren's touchdown narrows it to 20-16. Todd Peterson for the PAT, right up the middle. And the Seahawks have fought their way back into the football game. They trailed 20-3 at the half. They're within 3 with 11:06 to go in Denver.
As you see, Seattle Seahawks running back Chris Warren on the sideline just scored the touchdown to bring him within 3 of the Denver Broncos so far today with a sprained ankle. 16 carries for 83 yards and 1 touchdown.
And there's Tyrone Braxton, who slipped in front of Warren as Warren was making his way into the end zone on the 24-yard TD run. Now, here's the dynamite of Glenn Milburn on a kickoff return. Hurdles 1 tackler and has room. Fighting all the way to make the tackle is number 24 of the Seahawks, Selwyn Jones. He was the only man who could have kept Glenn Milburn from scoring a touchdown.
You talked about it. This guy is just dynamite. You're going to watch him. He's going to take off to the right here. He's going to get through the first line. As he breaks it back up, he's going to hurdle some guys. The main obstruction here is his own guy. He almost loses a handle on the ball. Finally breaks 3, and Selwyn Jones, the last guy, just by a hand, able to hold on to that jersey. You can see him trying to swing in there and not swap the ball out the last minute, but Glenn Milburn, just incredible all day long.
45-yard kickoff return for Milburn, who's closing in on 400 all-purpose yards. Elway down the middle, complete to Miller. And Miller is into Seattle territory at the 36. Dwayne Bickett, number 50, makes the stop. 4th catch for Miller, who had a touchdown in the first half.
Well, good vision by John Elway on that one. He looked over to his right. He had Pritchard sitting to the right. You can see him watch. His head's going to be facing right the whole time. Last second, boom, head snaps around, sees Miller and gets off. That's what makes him so good. As soon as he sees the open receiver, he's got that ball is gone.
Command of the field by Elway. And here's Aaron Craver with the football, and Craver breaks a tackle. Again, Eugene Robinson has to make the stop. Robinson got to have at least a dozen tackles today from his free safety position.
And you know, we've been talking a lot about Milburn. Milburn has been playing great, but Craver's been the guy, kind of a workhorse too. He's a guy that's been going in there. He's getting hit early, not always, you know, finding the big open hole. But man, talking about a guy muscling his way through some tackles, Aaron Craver's been doing that all day.
The record for all-purpose yardage in a National Football League game is 373 yards. I'm going to get the held by Billy Cannon. And Cannon was playing for the Houston Oilers in 1961, so the record was set in the old AFL. It came after the merger in NFL record. Glenn Milburn has 361 yards in this game, so he's now 12 yards away from breaking the NFL single-game all-purpose yardage record.
Don't tell him, man. It'll jinx him. Right now, he doesn't care. He just knows that he was given the opportunity. You know, as you talked about before, he's the third. He was supposed to be the third down back. With Terrell Davis out, it came down to splitting the load between Glenn Milburn and Aaron Craver.
He got hot on his first 3 punt returns in the first half. He had an early 21-yard run from scrimmage. Then Davis went out with the knee, and all of a sudden Milburn became a key part of the offensive picture from scrimmage for the Broncos, and he's kept going since then. Most recently, a 45-yard kickoff return to give the Broncos field position in this drive. Now 2nd down 1 from the Seahawks 27. Craver with the football and the first down across the 25 to the 24.
Yeah, good move. They try to blitz it. They figured they're going to bring it up the middle, let Craver carry it. But again, watch. Aaron Craver taking the ball. Winston Moss trying to chase it down from the outside, but the way Craver runs, there's nobody is going to stop him from picking up the forward momentum unless you hit him straight on in the face.
If you heard the cheer, it's because Glenn Milburn has come back onto the field. He needs 12 yards to break a long-standing NFL record. Flags down. Frustrating. Milburn had some running room.
That's what he's saying as he's walking back.
False start, offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, Brian Habib was anxious for Milburn to get those yards, huh?
What an amazing change. At 20-3, the hit on John Elway, which resulted in the fumble and the return for the touchdown, brought it to 20-10, really changed the complexion of this game. You see Antonio Edwards, the man who returned that fumble for a touchdown.
So now it becomes first down 15 for the Broncos from the 29-yard line. Milburn, and he's got about 5 of those yards down to the 24. Antonio Edwards made the stop, so now Milburn is 7 yards away.
And Jim, also, you can't say this guy's getting cheap yardage also. He's worked for every return. He's fought hard, broke tackles on every return that he's had. He's run perimeter, but most importantly, they've sent him up the middle, and he's taken some horrific hits and come up, bouncing back up to the huddle.
2nd down, 10 yards to go now after the 5-yard run to the 24. Eugene Robinson with the stop, and the give was to Milburn. Broncos have a good thing going and want to keep working it. Milburn may be tiring just a little bit. Didn't get a particularly quick start on that run from scrimmage, and once again, Shanahan and staff will bring him off for a breather.
Well, right now the Seattle Seahawks are trying to feel their way into what kind of defense they want. They were going with the base. Now they're blitzing a little bit, but they feel that if they blitz, they're going to be susceptible to the big play, which John Elway does so well.
And speaking of big plays, 3rd down 8 from the 22. Seattle blitzes. Elway tries to burn it, and it's dropped, but it's a flag in the end zone as Pritchard was covered by Selwyn Jones.
Well, Selwyn Jones and Eugene Robinson now are trying to talk him out of it.
Pass interference in the end zone, number 24 on the defense. Ball will be placed at the 1-yard line, first down.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it looked like he had him covered pretty close. The ball was thrown low and inside. Watch the left top corner of your screen. You're going to see him covered pretty well. Selwyn Jones, oh yeah, there it goes. Selwyn Jones, right as the ball was coming into Pritchard's hand, you saw Selwyn Jones' right hand grab on to Pritchard's arm.
Elway disappointed with the throw, which he felt he left too far short of Pritchard. Selwyn Jones' big mistake was never to look back at the ball.
Right.
Elway sneaks and has the touchdown. And that's a very big touchdown for Denver. A field goal would have left Seattle with a chance to win the game on a touchdown. Now Seattle must score twice. second-half score for Elway and company, and it's a big one.
And we just see that offensive line we've talked about early on, getting good drive up front. Look at the explosiveness in the legs. And John Elway just finding an open gap and diving through.
Going behind this year's new offensive line acquisition, Mark Sklereth at left guard. Zimmerman, Nail in the center, all doing their job to get John into the end zone. And Jason Elam adds the PAT, and with 7 minutes, 16 seconds to go, the Broncos stretch the lead back to 10 at 27-17.
Well, let's take a look at the penalty that set up the touchdown. Now watch 24 Selwyn Jones as he goes to cover Pritchard in the end zone. Watch his right hand grab onto Pritchard's arm. That's where the infraction occurred. This setting up this touchdown sneak by John Elway as the offensive line drives. Now look, there's the offensive line for the Broncos driving. Look at the rest of the defensive line all on the line of scrimmage. Good push up front. John Elway finding a nice gap.
Disappointed Selwyn Jones on one sideline. On the other sideline, John Elway says we got to win this one. We got to go to Kansas City and win. We got to go to Oakland and win. Kickoff sails deep. Steve Broussard across the 20 to about the 23. Seahawks need to go 77 yards from here and get a touchdown and then score again after that. NBC Tuesday starts with an all-new Wings, followed by News Radio, Frazier, and then the big news as Larroquette returns to Tuesday. Write that down, Bob Golic. Larroquette returns to Tuesday. An all-new John Larroquette show right after Frazier, Tuesday on NBC.
You got a pen?
I do indeed. I have a rolling point.
Oh, okay.
Kind of
I'll tell you what, News Radio really has been an incredibly funny show also.
Really?
Love
Spoken
watching
by
the
a
show.
sports radio host,
There you
Bob
go.
Golic, who has a fabulous sports radio talk show in L.A. 7:07 to go, as you saw, on first down. Freeze with the play fake to Warren, down the middle to Blades, and Blades with another clutch catch. Ray Crockett makes the stop for the Broncos.
And Seahawks are going to hustle back up to the line of scrimmage, even though there's 7 minutes left. They know they've got to get 2 scores.
68 catches on the year now for Blades, looking for a third consecutive 80-catch season and on pace to get it. Freeze down the middle, this time to Warren. Warren cutting back in the middle of the field, falls forward. Gain of 9, maybe 9.5. He'll be about a half yard short of the first down.
Well, Freeze knows they're going to give him that underneath. They don't want him to hit any big plays and let him score too quickly. But I'll tell you what, you pick up 8-10 yards of play, you're going to get down the field pretty quick in a no-huddle.
Clock running. Second down, half a yard to go. 6 minutes plus remaining. Warren trying to pick up the first down. Has it across the 50 to about the 48. Hasselback with the stop for Denver.
Well, John Freeze doing a good job right now, mixing up the plays. You're throwing the underneath ball, and he's throwing a very accurate ball also.
And they're saying that they had picked up the first down on the preceding play, so the sideline chain is calling this a second down play. Scoreboard and sideline chain not in agreement. And now they're getting it together. Alan Aldridge was the man who was in on top of Freeze as Freeze released that pass.
Yeah, Aldridge and Crockett both coming in. The protection broke down a little bit. Aldridge getting some good pressure on John Freeze. Didn't have any, and no receivers had broken open quick enough for him to dump the ball off to anybody.
Well, now the Seahawks recognize they have third down coming up. I think they had felt as well that the preceding play was a 1st and 10, just as I did. But instead it was a second down. Now it's 3rd and 7. Freeze throws to Blades. Blades has a first down and more, down to the 30 before Rondell Jones makes the stop.
Well, the throw to Blades, Ray Crockett trying to make a play on the ball, steps in front of Blades, is not able to react quick enough to make a play, picks up in about an extra 5 yards after the catch.
And after a rusty start in the relief of the injured Myrer, John Freeze is starting to throw it pretty well. Here's Broussard sneaking through a hole. Flag down as Broussard goes to the sideline and out of bounds. I think you got a probable holding call coming here.
Boy, I tell you what, has this been a problem with the Seahawks this year or what? The combination of turnovers at the wrong time, penalties that have destroyed the momentum on drives. This has been something that's haunted them all year.
Run. Holding number 52 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
After the Seahawks lost to the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, Bryce Paup said something that I think should be their epitaph. He says, that team has a lot of talent. They just tend to shoot themselves in the foot.
That's exactly right, and they do it here with the holding inside. Once again, Walker getting the hands on the outside shoulder of the defender.
So it's first down 17 now with the football at the 37-yard line. Blades in motion behind Freeze. Pass is to Galloway, and Galloway's close to a first down. 16-yard pickup down to the 21. Lionel Washington making the stop.
Well, John Freeze is just hot. He is finding some good open receivers and good awareness by Galloway. You see, as soon as he caught the ball, he was planning to break it back to the outside. He knew that was the best opportunity to get some yardage.
Second down, 1 to go with the football at the 21. Warren. No flags down as Warren breaks tackles and goes near the goal line again.
Once again, the thing that they're so good at. Don't run perimeter. Don't give it to Chris Warren and tell him to run to the outside. Start up the middle. Hit it up the middle. Let him find the hole. Watch him here. He finds it, and now he's going to bounce it outside. Gets track, and look at this guy. Just the intensity. He is one of the, he is such a big mainstay in this Seahawk offense for that reason. Hurt early in the game and still fighting like it's a Super Bowl.
Potential unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Chris Warren going for his 7th 100-yard rushing game of the year. He's now just a couple yards away. They've got first down goal at the 5. Clock running, 4:14 in the game. Freeze. Touchdown, Galloway. What a play. Atwater touched it. Blades might have gotten a hand on it. Galloway got the 6.
Well, Blades hit it first. Watch, it's going to come in. Brian Blades going to be the first one to touch it. It's going to go through. He went off his hand, off of Atwater, right into Galloway's hands.
Galloway's 6th touchdown catch of the year, and there have been none bigger. It's going to bring them back to within 3 or 4 points with still more than 4 minutes remaining. Todd Peterson on to try to make it 27-24. What a football game this has become. Peterson's kick is true. And with 4 minutes, 10 seconds left, the Seahawks are still alive after Galloway's big play, trailing by 3. We welcome those of you who just saw the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Oakland Raiders by the score of 26-10. I guess that score is final now since we're welcoming you to this game. It's not quite final. We brought you over here early. I'm Jim Lampley along with Bob Golic in Denver, where we have a terrific football game. It was 20-3 Denver at the half, but moments ago, Joey Galloway plucked a free ball out of the air in the end zone for a touchdown catch, which has brought the Seattle Seahawks to within 3 for the second time in the second half, now at 27-24.
The Seattle Seahawks were just so inept. At one point, going into the second quarter, they still had almost no offensive yards. And finally, as the second quarter progressed, they were able to get something going and really brought it back.
Rick Meyer on the bench with an injury. John Freeze, replacing him, has been hot in the second half. This is Glenn Milburn with the football, and with that kickoff return, Glenn Milburn has just broken a 34-year-old National Football League record for all-purpose yardage, a record set 34 years ago on this day by Billy Cannon of the Houston Oilers against the New York Titans, has just been broken by Milburn, who has nearly 400 total yards today. We welcome those of you who just saw the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Oakland Raiders by the score of 29-17. I'm Jim Lampley along with Bob Golic here in Denver, where the Broncos lead the Seahawks 27-24 with 4:01 to go. First down 10 from the 17-yard line. John Elway gives, in the absence of injured Terrell Davis, to Milburn again. Antonio Edwards with the stop. It's been an incredible day for those of you who joined us recently. For that young man, Glenn Milburn, third-year player out of Stanford, replacing Terrell Davis as the key running back for the Broncos today after Davis went down very early in the game with a strained knee, and Milburn, having a big day on punt returns, kickoff returns, catching and running the ball, has broken the NFL single-game record for all-purpose yardage. Nevertheless, the Broncos aren't out of the woods, leading 27-24. Elway is going to be dragged down by Winston Moss. And just to clarify, the game between Oakland and Pittsburgh, I'm told, is not quite over yet, but with Pittsburgh firmly in command, we brought you here as the Broncos try to continue a playoff drive.
Well, here you have Winston Moss, who they've started blitzing in the second half of this game, trying to take some chances, make some things happen, and you see here the blitz by Winston Moss, coupled with good coverage where John Elway, who normally could drop the ball off just about anybody, couldn't get rid of it.
Spread formation for the Broncos on 3rd down and 14 from their 13-yard line. Antonio Edwards trying to get in on Elway. John releases down the middle, incomplete. No flag. Big play breaking up the pass by Selwyn Jones, who just a few minutes ago was called for interference in the end zone against Mike Pritchard, setting up a Denver touchdown that had appeared to give the Broncos insurance.
Well, Selwyn Jones, knowing he had to make up for the mistake he made in the end zone this time against Anthony Miller. And man, as he covered him tight, he's right on top. The difference this time, he looked back. He found the ball. He made a play for the ball, and a great play on Anthony Miller.
Only the second punt of the day for Tom Ruin of Denver. This time he stands just inside his goal line. Joey Galloway, moments after a touchdown reception, waits at his 46. And he'll take it and fall back at the 44-yard line. Now let's show you how the complexion of this game changed. It was 20-3 early in the second half. Denver leading. They were driving toward a touchdown that would have made it 27-3.
And this is, they get that blitz coming up. Robert Blackman hitting John Elway. Didn't even see him. A ball picked up by Antonio Edwards, who ran 84 yards for a touchdown. This totally changed it. What could have been 27-3, made it a 20-10 game.
And then after a Chris Warren touchdown run, narrowed it to 2017, and Denver got a touchdown to make it 27-17. That's
beautiful throw, not actually a beautiful throw, tipped by a couple of players. Joey Galloway, very good awareness, good concentration, making the touchdown grab.
So it's 27-24 with 2:47 to go, and the Seahawks have great field position. Freeze's throw is caught by Blades. Blades with his 6th catch of the game. And that'll be a first down for Seattle at the Denver 45. Quick summary of the game. Broncos lost Terrell Davis with a strained right knee. Glenn Milburn's NFL record we've told you about. Seahawks lost Rick Meyer with a separated left shoulder. Chris Warren has had another quiet but effective day.
After spraining his ankle early in the game, taping it up, coming back out, and still being very productive.
First down after the throw from Freeze to Blades. And here's Blades again. Inside the 40 to the 38-yard line, Rondell Jones with the stop.
I'll tell you what, when a quarterback gets in a rhythm with a receiver, man, you can feel it. John Freeze is getting a lot of confidence now, and he has found great openings in underneath zones.
This would be a near miracle win for Dennis Erickson Seahawks if they can pull it off. We'll be back. 2 minutes to go in Denver. 2nd down, 3, Seattle at the 38-yard line. John Freeze in relief of Rick Meyer today. 9 of 15, 1 interception, 119 yards, and the touchdown pass, a couple of minutes to go, to Joey Galloway. A couple of minutes ago. Dennis Erickson battled the flu all week, saw his team fall behind 20-3. They've got a chance to win. Broncos showing blitz. Here it comes. Freeze releases. Incomplete.
Well, they know who he was going to. Brian Blades. They brought everybody up. And Blades, you see at the top right-hand corner of your screen, they jumped him quickly. But, man, they brought everybody trying to get some heat on John Freeze, who has been hot on this drive.
3rd down, 3. They need to get the football to the 35-yard line for a first down. It's spotted just outside the 38. Blades in motion behind Freeze. Warren is a blocker on this play. Galloway can't stretch far enough. And now the Seahawks have a 4th down decision coming up.
And you talk about Galloway being the big play guy. Man, if that ball was just a little bit more reined in, Joey Galloway would have had a huge play.
So now, offensive coordinator Bob Bratkowski and head coach Dennis Erickson need to come up with a 3-yard answer on 4th down from the 38. 3 wide receivers, Warren behind Freeze, Blades, first down to the 32. Rondell Jones with the stop, but Jones not jumping Blades quickly enough to prevent the first down conversion.
Well, they did it again. They blitzed. They brought Braxton. They brought a couple of linebackers.
And it's timeout here as Freeze and the Seahawks talk it over. 1:42 to go. They've got a first down.
Well, they tried the same play twice in a row. This time it works. They're blitzing, leaving Blades open. Rondell Jones has to come from safety position to come up and make the play. Just not enough time. A great read by John Freeze in getting that ball in before Jones could actually react.
So that was the clutch 4th and 3 pickup. Now the Seahawks go on 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Incomplete, intended for Christian Fourier. Rondell Jones again was the defender, but Fourier laments a drop.
Again, they're blitzing. Braxton coming again. Rondell Jones again coverage, but this time all on Christian Fourier.
The former Colorado Buffalo, probably with more than a few friends in the stands today, would have loved to have made that play. Brian Blades, 7 catches for 127 yards. He's been a huge factor in the second half. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Again, Fourier, the intended receiver, and again, absence of chemistry between Freeze and Fourier. Atwater there to defend.
Well, it looked like they threw it to him. It's coming on over his left shoulder and just thrown way too close to his head. Fourier turning just too late to see the ball and make any kind of play on the ball.
3rd down 10. The money man for Seattle throughout the second half has been Blades. Blades to the far side. Galloway to the near side. Ricky Prohl in the slot.
The blitz.
Freeze, complete to Galloway. Galloway fights for the yardage and gets the first down. Second effort first down by Galloway as he got just enough off of Lionel Washington and Rondell Jones to keep the Seahawks alive.
They, again, blitzing everybody, trying to put the pressure on John Freeze, break his concentration. Lionel Washington man-to-man out there with Joey Galloway. Rondell Jones coming in late to make the stop, but great second effort by Joey Galloway.
And with the football at the 20 and 2 timeouts left, the Seahawks let the clock run. Freeze, fade, incomplete, intended for Blades.
I'll tell you what, Clifford Hicks was very close.
It was not Blades, it was 3rd receiver Rob Thomas.
And Clifford Hicks, you can see on the right side of your screen, very close to making an interception as he goes up, has both hands on the ball. Rob Thomas able to get the ball loose, but a great play by Clifford Hicks.
Second down 10. Blitz. Warren. Seahawks lead. Chris Warren's 5th touchdown of the year against Denver. 3 in the first meeting between the two teams. His 2nd in the second half today. And after a monstrous uphill climb, the Seattle Seahawks have taken the lead over the Broncos with 49 seconds to go.
Well, you know, the Broncos this whole drive saying they're going to come at Freeze, they're going to try and break his concentration, they're going to blitz on just about every play. They're bringing safeties, they're bringing cornerbacks, they're bringing linebackers. It's just a matter of time before you get burned on that. It was kind of a last-second thing. Freeze was stuck in there. Braxton was about to make a hit on him. He dumps the ball off to Chris Warren, who always finds an open spot.
Total improvisation for the 20-yard touchdown pass from Freeze to Warren. Peterson's kick is good. And with 49 seconds to go, the Seahawks have gone out to a 31-27 margin over Elway and the Broncos. Another look.
You see, just as we said, they blitzed everybody, just dropping the ball off to Chris Warren. Nobody there in a position to make any kind of reaction to him. Watch the blitz. You can see Braxton coming, Aldridge up the middle. Braxton at the last second about to make the hit, and Freeze just finding Chris Warren with, I may add, a couple of offensive linemen to kind of guide his way.
And just another indicator of the quiet brilliance of Chris Warren. I said to Albert Lewis of the Raiders the other day, Chris Warren's the most underrated offensive player in the AFC. And he said, no, Jim, Chris Warren is far and away the most underrated offensive player in football. As Warren rejoices, we remind you tonight on NBC begins with an NBC special, Lost Civilizations, The Maya. That's followed by Mad About You and Hope and Gloria. Then Eddie Murphy comes to NBC in the box office comedy smash, The Distinguished Gentleman. All tonight on NBC. Lost Civilizations, Mad About You, Hope and Gloria, The Distinguished Gentleman. Most distinguished gentleman on the field at the moment, Chris Warren of the Seahawks.
And the Denver Bronco fans hoping the most distinguished gentleman can be John Elway, which he's done, I'd say about, I think the record is about 36 times before this.
Don't forget Milburn, waiting at the goal line now, already having established an NFL record today for all-purpose yards. His last kickoff return went for 45, and only a saving tackle by Selwyn Jones prevented a touchdown. Milburn will pick this one up. Every yard adds to a record. He gets it only across the 20 to about the 22.
And now it comes down to John Elway.
And we welcome those of you who just saw the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Oakland Raiders by the score of 29-10. I'm Jim Lampley, along with Bob Golic here in Denver, where once the Broncos led by 20-3 in a game in which they were thoroughly in control, in an 83-yard fumble return off a John Elway fumble created by a Robert Blackman hit at a time when the Broncos were going in to try to make it 27-3, turned the game around. And now Seattle leads 31-27 with 44 seconds to go. Elway on first down, incomplete, overthrowing Anthony Miller. 29 fourth-quarter game-winning drives, best ever in the NFL. This one would be one of the biggest miracles of all if he could pull it off.
Well, you know, one of the keys here, too, the Oakland Raiders losing today. With a Bronco win, they would be tied in the division once again, making it still battling for that position to win that wild card spot, possibly.
You got to figure the Seahawks are going to double cover Miller. Elway might have to look elsewhere for an opportunity. Stumbles. Goes down. Flag thrown, perhaps to indicate that Elway was down before releasing the football.
Well, Antonio Edwards and Cortez Kennedy came up from behind, was able to drag him down by the legs.
Holding call. If Denver loses, Bob Golic, it'll be the fourth time this year, or check it, the first time this year, that the Broncos have led at the half and then lost the football game. And not too many times in recent years have the Seahawks trailed at the half and come back to win a football game, particularly not here. They've lost 6 in a row and 9 of their last 10 in Denver. So this could be a major milestone for Dennis Erickson's developing program with the Seahawks if they can pull it off.
You know, they've had some very good games this year. They beat the Eagles last week, resurging Eagles. And then they come in here hoping to kind of continue some of that. But as you said earlier, against Buffalo, Bryce Paup came out and said, you know, they've got a talented team.
Holding offense, number 69 is accepted. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
You know, if they could just stop shooting themselves in the foot, and that has been a big problem with them. They have a lot of talent, a lot of big play guys on their team that can get a lot of yardage and get it fast, but they always have the turnover, the penalty to stop it.
They've shown the talent today, coming back with big plays both offensively and defensively in the second half. Denver came in looking to win 3 in a row to close the season and guarantee themselves a wild card berth and the right to host a playoff game here in Mile High. Now all of that seriously in jeopardy as they trail the Seahawks. And the Seahawks' playoff hopes more alive than ever, though they'll need some help even if they win the rest. Gary Larry Lane's officiating crew, making certain they get it all straightened out. Scoreboard says it'll be second down 19 from the 18-yard line.
There was a sack on the play. The defense has declined the penalty. Third down at the spot of the sack.
That makes more sense.
Makes a lot more sense.
Leaving Elway with 2 plays.
And 32 seconds.
Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Off the hands. Rod Smith, the intended receiver, made a clutch catch earlier in the third quarter, but couldn't hold on to that one. And now it'll be 4th down 19.
Now, lots of time, just rifled a little bit too hard. You hit Smith in the hand. Probably should have had it. But they just definitely got to control the clock a little bit more. Smith would have had to definitely fight his way to the sideline to get out of bounds. But right now, John Elway is just going to have to come up with a huge, huge play.
It's actually 16 yards to go for the first down. They got to get it to the 37-yard line to move the chain and keep the football. Seahawks blitz. And the throw is caught. Attempted lateral into the hands of Winston Moss. That's going to do it. Seattle with the football at the 27-yard line. And the Seahawks, with but 19 seconds on the clock, begin tentatively to celebrate a near miracle comeback victory.
Well, they were in man-to-man coverage. They tried to do the little shovel pass, throw it to the receiver. He catches it, shovels it to the Glenn Milburn coming behind, but man-to-man coverage very close. No room for any exchange.
5th turnover of the day for the Denver Broncos. Brian Blades looking for a hug from Dennis Erickson, the 2 former Miami Hurricanes, coming off a rough couple of weeks for their former collegiate program. Celebrate a victory here. Want to remind you, coming up tonight here on NBC, Lost Civilizations starts it off, the Mayan culture, then Mad About You, Hope and Gloria, and the Sunday movie, Eddie Murphy's The Distinguished Gentleman. All of it coming up in prime time tonight on NBC. Seahawks are going to get to 7-7 with this victory. The Broncos are going to drop to 7-7. Glenn Milburn's record-breaking effort wasted. 45 yards receiving, 131 yards rushing, 228 yards in returns, 404 yards all-purpose, breaking a record set 34 years ago today by Billy Cannon of the Houston Oilers against Harry Wismer's New York Titans. Chris Warren, unsung hero of the Hawks, once again leads them to victory over Denver. So the final score was here in Mile High Stadium, 31 for Seattle, 27 for Denver. The NFL on NBC will continue right after this.